Hello everybody. Second here, make sure we are live. Yes, we are. Hello everybody and welcome to the America's Watch Party. Now, we're not quite at the finals yet, but we're almost there. This is the last game before we get to the lower finals and the grand finals. We just saw the upper finals, which was a best of 3, but the lower finals and the grand finals are both going to be best of 5 matches here. There's a lot to look forward to, but the main thing that I, as a North American viewer, am excited about is we will be seeing 2 North American teams going to Masters in addition to Loud. Now the question is, which of these North American teams is going to be trying to take down Loud in the grand final? We just saw Evil Geniuses play Loud earlier today, and they did lose. Although they were able to beat Loud on one of Loud's best maps of Ascent, on Bind it kind of went south, and Evil Geniuses didn't really find any grounds to stand on. But now we're moving in to this next series that we have today, which doesn't have to do with Evil Geniuses. It doesn't have to do with Loud. It is just Cloud9 and NRG. Now, the winner of this series, not only do they go to Tokyo, not only do they go to Masters and Champions, but they also have the opportunity to try and fight for that grand final spot and then try and fight to win grand finals. And I think there is a bit of a question of what happens, what's the point of winning grand finals? And there's actually a lot of a point. There's a really big point. This was just put out a few hours ago. Riot explained how the system will work for Masters. Now, I don't really have time to delve into exactly everything and how it's all going to work, but the gist of it is each of the major teams, that being EMEA, Americas, and Pacific, get to present one team that will make it straight to the playoffs. So there's going to be 12 teams in Masters, 4 teams, those being 2 from EMEA, because they get an additional spot after winning lock-in, 1 from Americas, and 1 from the Pacific League, all get to go straight to the playoffs, and then the other 4 playoff slots, because there's 8 playoff slots, 12 total teams, the other 4 playoff slots will go to the top 4 teams after a group stage. So there's going to be a little short group stage for the bottom 8 teams who don't get a free spot in playoffs. Now, the question is, how do you get to playoffs, or how do you get that free spot in playoffs? Well, if you win your region's league, you get a free spot into the playoffs. Not only that, you get the title of the Americas winner, or the Pacific winner, or the EMEA winner. It's a good title, but you also get a free spot to the playoffs of Masters, which is definitely like a good opportunity to have. And so that's sort of what the whole fight in Americas is at this point. But before we even get into who's going to win the lower final, who's going to get the grand final, we don't even know exactly which teams are going to be going to Masters for Americas. We know Loud is going, we know Evil Geniuses is going, but we don't know that third team. And at this point, we've gone through the lower bracket, and it's down to just 2 teams in Cloud9 and NRG. Now, whichever team wins today gets a spot in Masters Tokyo, and then has an opportunity to continue to try and make a good lower bracket run and do well in Masters. Now, Cloud9 and NRG, they've had a little bit of an interesting story to get here. You see, NRG lost to Evil Geniuses, and that was a little bit of an upset, but also NRG wasn't the strongest in the group stage, so it's definitely reasonable that you could say, okay, yeah, Evil Geniuses had a chance there. And then Evil Geniuses plays Cloud9. Cloud9 is the number 2 seed after the group stage, has done impressively well, only losing to Loud, and everybody's expecting, alright, Cloud9's gonna win here. And that's not what happened. Evil Geniuses shut down Cloud9 2-0. I mean, although it was kind of close, it also wasn't that close in a sense. 13-5 and 13-2. I say it was kind of close because the rounds felt a little bit close, but it was a pretty overall dominant performance from Evil Geniuses. And now that's landed NRG in the lower bracket and Cloud9 in the lower bracket. Now, they didn't play each other in the first lower bracket round. They played different teams, Leviathan and Furia, and both of these teams beat those teams, wanted to get some redemption, and now they're playing each other to determine which team is going to be able to rematch against Evil Geniuses. And again, whichever team wins this gets a spot in Tokyo, and Cloud9 had that ripped away from them. This is a team everybody was like, yeah, we're going to see Cloud9 in Tokyo. They've got a pretty easy free spot. I mean, they're probably just going to be able to take out... when we saw Evil Geniuses beat NRG, for me, that was like really cool because I was sort of rooting for the underdog in that series. But at the same time, it was also a very big opportunity when I could just look over and be like, okay, it looks like Evil Geniuses is just gonna get taken down by Cloud9 because Evil Geniuses did not look that strong in the group stage. They barely qualified for the playoffs. And then they did destroy Cloud9. So Cloud9, who I think even they were expecting an easy 2-0 for them to just make it to Masters, and they didn't do that. So now they have to make this lower bracket run in order to qualify for Masters. And now they're in a position where they have to beat out their fellow North American team in NRG. And honestly, I think Cloud9 can do it. Why do I think that? Well, Cloud9's already done it. I mean, we've seen this series before during the group stage. Now, these teams have fought each other a lot throughout a lot of different tournaments and brackets and such, but the most recent matchup was in the group stage of Americas, and it did go 2-1, so it wasn't super dominant, but it was still a win for Cloud9, the third map being a little bit less dominant, or less close, sorry. A little bit more dominant than the previous two maps, but overall it does go to Cloud9, which shows these teams are pretty solid teams. Okay, these are some pretty solid teams, and you know, I'm expecting a win from Cloud9 again, just because it's who we're talking about here. But we also know Cloud9 isn't invincible, despite being in a position to destroy Evil Geniuses. They got destroyed themselves, so we know Cloud9 is not as indestructible as we may have thought. And we can also say that NRG is definitely not as indestructible as maybe some people would have thought, especially considering they did also lose to Evil Geniuses. I'm sure Cloud9's loss to Evil Geniuses was more dominant, but I think that was sort of the element of surprise. The Evil Geniuses doing so well shocked Cloud9. It seemed like they didn't know how to counterplay, they didn't know how to react, and that's why we ended up in the position we're in now. Now that Cloud9 is playing NRG, again, this is for Tokyo. Not only is this for Tokyo, by the way, it's a double qualification. So if they win here, whichever team wins this, not only do they qualify for Masters, they also get a free spot in Champions as well, just because of the way that everything works. So that means if you make it to Masters Tokyo, you also get a spot in Champions, and you don't have to play through the last chance qualifier. And so you'll have more time to prepare for Champions. It's a good position to be in. So these teams really want this win here, and I think we're going to see a really close match. Now, typically the series I like to see are some of the like NA versus the South American teams. But for today we didn't actually have, or well we did have one, but I wasn't planning on streaming today, but I watched the series and I was like, okay, we'll watch it. Or I'll watch party this next series. So we're going to see this happen, and then, of course, the winner goes on to the lower final, and then the winner of the lower final bracket ends up in the grand final to try and beat out Loud. And these seedings do matter, by the way. Your positionings do matter. Hello, Pedro. Your positions do matter, or where you place does matter. Because if, say, you are first place, again, you get a free spot in playoffs for Masters. If you're below that, you're going to have to be in the group stage and getting a better seeding. Actually, I don't think your second and third seeding matters as much, but yeah, being number one seed absolutely matters for Masters, and it's important that you do well there. Yeah, it's important to be able to win the grand final. So there's a lot that these teams are playing for beyond just qualifying for Tokyo. But for right now, let's just focus on this. I'm getting off topic. Let's just focus on Cloud9 versus NRG. This series is for the Tokyo qualification, the Masters qualification, and the Champions in Los Angeles qualification. It's a big series. It is a very big series. Yeah, so I'm expecting a lot. If you want to look more into the Masters format, I can sort of give a brief overview here. It's still a little bit confusing. Even I don't necessarily understand it. But essentially, the top 4 teams from it's going to be the top 2 teams from EMEA, top 1 team from Pacific, and top 1 team from Americas get a free spot in the playoffs of Masters. There's 12 total teams in Masters. The top 4 from Americas, EMEA, and Pacific get a free spot in the playoffs. The next bottom 8 teams are going to have to go through a group stage. These bottom 8 teams are comprised of the other 2 qualifiers from Americas, the other 2 qualifiers from EMEA, and the other 2 qualifiers from Pacific, as well as 2 Chinese teams from FGC. Invitational Act 1. They've got their own little bracket that they do, but the top 2 teams from that also get to participate in the group stage. So those bottom 8 teams going to be in a group stage. They're going to play the top 4 teams after the group stage, get to join the other 4 teams that are already in playoffs for the top 8 teams, which are going to be in the playoffs. It's a little bit confusing. It's a $1 million USD total prize pool, which is a lot of money. So yeah, there's a lot you're playing for as far as monetary incentive, as well as if you win, you gain your region an extra spot in Champions. So this is my understanding, I could be wrong, after Masters, there's going to be the last chance qualifiers for Americas, for Pacific, and for EMEA. Each last chance qualifiers gets to present one additional team to go play in Champions on top of the teams that qualified for Champions because they qualified for Masters. And so the last chance qualifiers allow one additional team from each of the regions to go to Masters, to go to Champions. However, if your team or your region, so that could be for Americas, that could be basically if it's an Americas team, or if an EMEA team wins, or if a Pacific team wins, or if a China team wins, whichever one it is, you gain an extra spot for your region in Champions. So that means instead of just one additional team from your region qualifying for Champions, it's 2 additional teams, which is exactly how it worked for lock-in. The Fnatic won lock-in, so that meant EMEA got an additional spot to send another team into Masters. So instead of it being 2 teams from EMEA, it was 3 teams because they did so well in lock-in, or because they did win lock-in. But enough talk about Champions or Masters. Let's just talk about the topic on hand. I've got some other topics for when we're in between maps, but for right now, let's just talk about Cloud9 versus NRG.
So it's our turn to throw things out to the Riot Games arena to watch both of our teams walk out in all their glory.
That's right. 2 teams are set to take the stage for the most important match of their season with Masters Tokyo in sight. Riot Games Arena, let me hear you! Introducing first, we have Finesse, Som, Artis, Victor, Crashies, and their coach Chet. It's Team NRG!
Basics are intense.
And their opponents are Leaf, Zeppa, Rooney, Jake, and Zelsis with their coach MC. It's Cloud9!
When it comes to Masters Tokyo, it's win and you're in, lose and go home. Everything on the line today in our lower bracket bout between NRG and Cloud9. Which North American team will reign supreme?
Since the inception of this core, making Masters Berlin 2021, they have not missed a single international event on the side of NRG, and the 3 guys who have been to all of those events want to go back. But on the other side of the stage, for Cloud9, they have an opportunity for something fresh. Jake and Rooney, fresh out of Tier 2, making their debut in Tier 1, have a chance chance to go international.
Yeah, genuinely 2 months from Tier 2 to Tokyo for Jake and Rooney. The new IGL to the Tier 1 scene, to the top level of Valorant in the world. An incredible story for those two. And frankly, a return to the top for players you expect to be there, like Leaf, like Zeppa, and Zelsis, who's taken a long time away from that scene too.
But I have to ask, how the hell did we get these two teams in the lower bracket? The North American, well, we thought we were going to be the Kings. We thought they were going to be #1 and #2 coming into playoffs, and that has not been the case. Instead, they're fighting to kill each other down here in the lower bracket.
And the pressure is on, not just for the new players, not just for those who want to make it back. For that core of Cloud9, it has been a year of failure in 2022. They struggled, and this team completely rebuilt coming into this year, found gems out of really unknown quantities, and have now pushed to being on almost expected value internationally. This is their last chance to make it.
The speeches have been delivered, the huddles have broken, the players are in their seats, and now it's time to dive into the map vetoes to see where our playground for the day will be.
It's really interesting to continue to see NRG ban Ascent in some of these series, because honestly, in the past, I really thought that their Ascent's been pretty good, but they've got punished on it before, so not going to take that risk against Cloud9.
Yeah, last time they played Ascent against Cloud9, they lost it, but that was when they had Artis, Killjoy, and Victor on Jet. I was kind of expecting them to ban out Lotus here, to be honest. They haven't played much Lotus. I think the last time they did, they lost to Sentinels, so kind of strange. It's actually going to come through, potentially. Obvious bind ban comes through those, and then we're getting Pearl, and Lotus.
Cloud9 has been banning Pearl for most of the regular season after Icebox got removed. Early on, they were great at this. They played a really gimmicky, cool comp with the double flash in the Sage. They've also played Harbor Viper, and now I'm wondering, with all that time banning it, what comp are they going to pull out now?
Yeah, one, how about that confidence ball to go back to Lotus when Cloud9 most recently has actually fallen down on it a couple times?
Yeah, it's really interesting because they were flawless in the regular season, and then all of a sudden things go haywire on that map towards the tail end of that. So it's really interesting, but honestly, it is their strength. It is their strength against NRG too, like you said, Wyatt. This is a long time before they played Lotus, or NRG has, and it didn't look that great. And then we're going to Haven as a final map, and that is just literally the best place for these two teams to meet.
It really is. It's that fresh switch to Harbor Viper for NRG on Haven, and it's a map that while Cloud9 play the older composition, they have shown excellence at.
A classic decider between these two squads. The first series went the distance. We're hoping this one does as well. In order to get there, we first have to get through Pearl and Lotus. Let's dive into Agent Select.
Part of me wants Cloud9 to go back to that Phoenix Sky comp, because I think it's really good at exploiting Harbor Viper teams.
Okay, I agree with you. I fully agree with you. That Phoenix comp has some legs, and we've seen other players or other teams use it, but Harbor Viper is the meta, and I don't see them changing, even though I might have wanted something like that.
Yeah, that would have been really nice to go back to him. That was one of the.
Listen, I'm not as up to date on these teams as I am the Challengers team, so I don't know which team comps
that they were running.
Traditionally, you don't actually. Interesting thing to talk about. I looked into the teams, the top Brazil teams and the top Latin American teams, and I didn't realize this, but the Latin American teams, Brazil and the Latin American teams, there were not nearly as many in their challengers as there were the North American challengers. Like for North American challengers, we got 12. I think in the Latin American North and the Latin American South, it was like 6 teams each, and then for Brazil, it was like 8 teams. So it's weird that there's like I'm so used to there being a lot of teams or a lot more teams. So it makes me think I'm a little bit more confident that North America can win in the America's Ascension, because to me it looks like we're gonna have a little bit of better like we'll have had more time to whittle down our teams, or we'll have a lot more teams that had to like play each other than for the Latin American teams. So I think North America has a good shot in Ascension. But yeah, I was just looking into those teams because I was like, you know, I've only been paying attention to North American challengers, even though we're going to be playing Latin America or the Latin American teams in Ascension. We may as well look over there, so I did. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into this one.
Alright, so they don't use that molly right away. I was going to say, quick push towards A. They'll push each other back. Heavy util usage at the beginning of this round.
No, you're right. They are pushing. Artists pushing forward for the first
I'm not really sure who I'm rooting for. I guess I'm rooting for C9. Yeah, I'll say I'm rooting for Cloud9.
But C9 readapts right away,
I think they're good enough to do well in Masters.
Once again, still energy on the board. Wow. The late alert not going to work out. Jake's already solo.
Oh.
At least denies the flawless for Cloud9. Looking for this clutch as Energy are closing in. But they have all the numbers moving forward. Watching the correct spot. And it's picture perfect for Energy to get the pistol round.
There were a few
3
players
ghost
there.
pistol round for Energy, and it looked like their attack side, just going aggressive, always getting those 3 ghosts in a line together, peeking together, making sure whoever is on the receiving end goes down immediately. So really playing with just a quick move, death ball, back up, move again, as Energy instantly source out Cloud9. Interesting to what the retake could have been in that round if C9 had chosen to go the other site. Energy gets the first read. We'll keep an eye on that. And it looks like they're going to try something the same again with a little bit of coverage towards mid. So an eye on Cloud9. And now how they receive this pressure for the second time.
Lots of sprays happening across. Artist with the Phantom. Expecting some sort of flash push out from Cloud9 with the high tide that came up. Capitalizing now on kills and orbs. Energy is looking fairly strong now on the control of A Long at the beginning of this game.
Wall control as well. Artist getting the points just from kills. But Sam's getting a bit of focus on that so they can get the reckoning up. We've seen that become a team's priority ultimate as you're getting in and out of sites or even splitting something like Art. Rest of the extremities of the map now just being tested. I think this might be a full rotation over. Great guard by Crashies and Spawn here as they're giving this space up to Cloud9.
Yeah.
If they can get Cloud9 to come closer, these stingers are going to be much more effective here for Energy.
Energy's definitely okay with it.
Yeah.
One player was watching the spawn that was Crashies for the push. Alarmbot was still watching everything else on B-Link.
It's okay.
So Energy still has
And
the
it's their
information,
eco, so we're
the
okay.
early information gathered to
okay.
react first. Therefore now C9
Just like find
behind
one
by
kill.
2 players,
That's all
make
I
that
ask.
even 3.
And don't get
Hunting now for
completely
kills and for
unrelated.
stats.
There you
It's going
go.
to be Rooney though that answers back. Finesse trying to do the same. Spike down 1v1. And a clean second round now for Energy.
Stingers across
I'm
the
rooting for
board,
Z9
but
or
the Phantom
Cloud9
for
because I
Artist
feel
as we
like
take another
Energy's
look at
like
that.
the fan favorite.
So
Like
really
they've got a
making
lot
sure
of
Artist stays up
because like
and drop that if
Energy's
necessary when Bladestorm comes along, but
Energy's like
everything
social
works right,
media
it's right in there.
presence is really big. Like
Cloud9 are forced.
Som
now
is
forced, but now into their bonus round
pretty big
here.
streamer and
Without
like
more than a
Energy's
few kills
YouTube.
on the board.
They
This is
have a
exactly
good amount
what
of
Energy wants to
followers
do.
or
If they can shut down
subscribers, so
Leaf plus avoid Leaf.
I feel like Energy's
duo
sort of the
of being
fan
able to
favorite, so
avoid
I'm
the
rooting for
aggression.
Cloud9 just because they have
How much Leaf can pop off.
less
makes you
fans,
wonder
and
if
I
there's
think I like the
reasons
players on
Energy takes this
Cloud9 a
first
lot,
map.
so I want them
Finesse on
to
the
go
Sheriff here.
to Masters. Plus, yeah,
We're gonna
Energy's
just
gone
keep it
to
low on the
a
bonus
lot of
and high on the
international
econ.
competitions and
It's the first time they go towards C for a long
give
hit.
these new players a chance, a little bit of
Shoot,
underdog.
dodge, and go.
Yeah, trying to stop the
damage
mid
Artist.
push. Trying to break the turret as well. Focusing a lot of players on the B site. But because of this heal, there's dwindled numbers. A weakened B site, but Victor still opens it up. Hidden behind the map.
Okay, they know Victor's there. Yeah.
Nice little flash, but Zeppa turned away from it to be able to get these kills. So nice clean take so far for Cloud9.
Nice.
Zeppa continues to push forward.
Such a
Song
good
now
clearance.
overwhelmed by Jake on the other end.
Good
Crashies answers
execution.
back with his own Phantom in a clutch situation.
Pushes
A
through
disadvantage
that.
against 3.
I was gonna say I don't think Cloud9 would expect that, but then he got he got caught.
To get their gun round.
That's
Good round.
exactly what you want to see. No hesitation.
Majority
from
of players up
Cloud9,
to
even with
line.
the first few rounds going quickly
Pretty
in
solid.
Energy's favor, especially the first one. C9 know exactly.
say, I feel
the
like
type of game
Energy-
they want to play, and once they get set up towards the
Energy, I feel like they
just
only lost that
instantly
because there's a
take it.
big gun difference. Like I feel like now that there's a buy from the side, it's gonna be a really
Quick clear out. Expected
It's gonna be
round now as
difficult.
we get a buy-in from NRG, but now this is the round we wonder, will Cloud9 play it? So how do they find out about this Artist op? And once they do, will they throw everything they have at it? No cascade just yet, so they're actually sourcing this information still.
An Artist not afraid to reposition. A second attempt, a second opportunity, and even a third to get the wall bang and the assist to drop Leaf early in the round.
They're pushing up for the fight too. It's not the regular cascade wall. They're not protecting themselves on this push, so they were almost looking for that fight.
okay. We only need 4
Yeah,
players.
Artist will give it to him. Spike now sits
Opium.
behind column. It looks like to be a fake by Zeppa as they work the map. So Cloud9 is trying to fake out the team that loves to take time on the map. Energy is more than happy to sit and anchor these sites with enough power. 3 on A, now still 2 on B. The middle of the map can be taken either way by Cloud9, and Energy would not scoff at it.
Yeah.
It's running down the time here, Vansilli. It's going to get tight.
And Crashies through his Trailblazer, spotted Som and hurt the flash coming out.
Jake's just sitting here.
Should I say Zeppa was the one that did that, heard the flash coming out from Crashy, so calls that over for Cloud9 to still want to inch towards Art. Trying to sell a cascade push into the B-Link. Elite lurk set up by Jake. Pressure moving in with 25 seconds left on Art. There's the first contact, and Som just holds his ground. Oh my gosh! And Jake winning his fights on the other end, but too little too late. Yeah. Yes, he gets these kills, opens up the B site, but the spikes across the map, and it's going to be the round now for Energy.
I think you remember Som on Harbor. Everybody was like, oh, somebody's playing Harbor, and then Som just seemingly exploded on this agent, continuously playing a situation himself, whether it's in the utility or not. We see him jumping in and out of his coves to get frags back in secret on A. That's where we're going to see Som for most of this game, is anchoring that A site when they're on defense. So just like this, 1, 2, 3, hat trick pulled up on the A site, and Som's already feeling it to shut down a gun round for Cloud9 here.
It's easy when that happens, right? You have your crosshair placement, a high-low stack.
To be fair, Pearl's picked by Energy. I do expect 3 maps,
so the timing not as perfect this time around. Slipping through the communication to try to flood the A site. Op still in the hands of Artis this time around. But we do have a force buy pretty much out of Cloud9. Zeppa only with a stinger.
Yeah. The weapon they had and a bit of money they have gotten over these rounds. But you wonder, was the operator the reason we just saw a timeout round? Is Artis and the team just stopping Cloud9 that much? Right now it's up to Leaf to push forward. Down through connector, so they heavily avoid the operator in this situation. If it is at B, you're still going to see it, right? If he's at screens, but that's not the case. They get in with Seekers, and so far they've chose the right site, but delayed it already.
Reckoning now used out early from Som, just to push the attackers away. Gives a chance for Cloud9 to get in the site and break the utility left behind from Victor. And the Op's already rotating across, actually still on the A site.
It is on, okay.
That said though,
nice.
C9 are still open up the site. There's a lurk coming in from Rooney, and the Op's about to come in for the rescue, and he runs away just on time. Zelsis looking for the plant inside the B site. A battle up now, just in the back of the vents.
What?
Oh gosh! Artis gets the pick! Spike now still down, Artis on a 2 versus 1. Jake puts his pit down. And that is going to be the call for Artis to fall back and save the operator.
I think I'd prefer...
It was bloody and they got it done. Cloud9
I don't think the Viper Spirit was
down the gap in the lead from Energy
I think it would have been better to save it, but...
That was real scary at the end there. I think the stop that we saw coming in that situation where Artis gets the kill onto Rooney is big in itself, right? That's not Artis being at the site. There are only a few Cloud9 members that were taking it, which spells good things for Cloud9. They were able to get in, anchor it, find the frags they needed, and still put the pressure onto Energy with numbers down in the situation. So it's a second one for Cloud9 as it was looking a little grim after that operator round, but Artis does save it. Lockdown's there for Victor. We'll see Rooney maybe getting an orb focus here for Cloud9, so the beginning of their round may be set in stone to just go for alt orb focus here. As we watch for mid. Still very timid play towards mid throughout this entire game. A few moves towards that B-Link area from Cloud9, but a lot of the extremities have been played here. 3-2.
This is good.
Round 6. Still
okay
no
with this.
Coming
again, like it's it's Energy's pick, so I honestly don't even want Cloud, or I don't need Cloud9 to win this map in order to like feel confident.
Got to play a little bit more timid now for Energy.
Nice,
good
you
job
know?
by Cloud9.
Like a 2-0 would be nice.
It'd
give me some confidence that Cloud9 can like do well. Not just in Masters, but like if they can beat EG, like I feel like Cloud9 could like potentially take down Loud if, but obviously that's like looking really far down the line. But like Cloud9 2-0ing would give me that type of confidence. But these teams are like so evenly matched. I feel like a lot of these teams are.
Right out of Crashies, flashing to get information. But that pins down C9, up for mid control. Still a lot of time to work left though.
A 4v4 right now, but this round was Cloud9's first kill of the series. Can they convert it? They're still being super patient on this one. They kind of want Energy to make a move. We saw this a lot in the Energy EG game, where Energy would not move until Evil Geniuses almost had to play full contact into the situation. As such,
We get a contact right there. Up shot miss by
Wow.
Artis, but Crashes is still holding the
I don't know what the observer was doing. We missed like
18 seconds left. The top of
everything.
the ponytail spotted, but Celsius can get the kill. Crashes pushing forward for the headshot
Oh.
to Rooney. He's going to work.
Wild.
Celsius in the sight. Another disadvantage. Crashes cannot
jeez, they were on
move out
eco.
of B site as Energy holds a perfect defense on B.
And they convert the
This
4v5,
is not
right?
where I want to be.
That was C9 getting their first blood on that round, and Energy says it doesn't matter. They still anchor the sites like we were talking about, holding back all the utility for when the crash comes in for Cloud9 here. And it seems to take quite a few members of C9 to do this. The two-person fakes across the map are not strong enough to break apart Energy's defense right now, or the confidence that they're defending with. Fist bumps all around as Energy picks up a very clean round, and the back and forth in the money van, Silly, that's what hurts the wallet quite a bit. That's going to be a low buy round here coming in for Cloud9 as we get a timeout as well.
Yeah, much needed here. Cloud9's been doing a pretty good job, as you mentioned, Riv, avoiding the operator early from the hands of Artis.
Yeah, I feel like Cloud9 just doesn't know how to push. I think if Cloud9 takes a little bit of a more aggressive approach, like I feel like Cloud9's executions need some work because Energy's just playing slow enough or like far enough back that they can
cross those lines into
prevent that execution.
It's very difficult to deal with what Victor currently
Hopefully the timeout will be used for that, but
even Crashy's playing the back of B.
It's an eco
like
round.
Cloud9's dealing with, they have a set strategy.
Ults,
it might be to take B Link or take Art. Well, they get Art for free, and then you're doing a regular site take once you get up to
they
position.
won that
So
eco,
I think
so
they're
they're
trying to trap
with like
Energy
4
with
players
Energy.
up to
Just like,
live,
come on
which
in.
is
Hey, yeah, take the site, and then we'll retake them.
too many. It means their econ is like super
Especially
stable
with
now.
lockdowns
They can
here,
just pick up
even
guns.
more likely to allow that hit to come in and play their lives. A little bit of a long B focus here from Energy as they are backing up Artis with the operator. And we hear Leaf trying to make an impact. Nothing on the first updraft. Saves himself one for later fight. All right. Push back, the delay. You see a quick harbor wall coming out of Sam as well, just to make sure they're slowing anybody down and giving A little bit more help as this rotation from Crashies comes over. Again, these rounds are so quiet until they explode.
There's a high tide, and that's why you needed the second updraft to go over the poison orb, an opener onto Victor. Utility down, Seekers out right away from the defenders. As Leaf is still trying to gain ground, looking to support his teammate, Rooney already fell.
Okay, eco round.
2 players
so.
pushing forward, make that even 3. Sam is pulling back. Lands on the first.
Yeah, I don't know if I like that decision to chase.
As they go for the
but...
trade-off, a 3 versus 3. But the weapons are still stronger for Energy. So 40 seconds left now. Slowly creeping in. Leaf making all the noise in the world. Trying to bait out some shots!
Ooh.
And speaking of shots, what a shot there on the
Zero start
finesse!
chanting ace.
With that, Zelsa puts the plant down. Crashes, looks for the timing in the cove, will get it. Flashing out. And also denying Leaf. Up to Jake. Flash spots him now. Updraft then coming back from Artis, but Crashes once again reigns on the parade of Cloud9.
Normally I'd say like, oh, it's an eco that killed the majority of the players, so it's good eco. But also when like Cloud9 was in a position to win that, so
hardly ever are we seeing drawn out.
Yeah, I don't particularly like the choice there, or the not the choice, but the loss there.
For this fight, we even saw the team coming through.
Yeah, I did not like that chasing down there.
They hardly even flashed to get into the site to start off. So yeah, this is a game that's moving at max speed as soon as teams get into position.
So
it's just when, right?
We'll see.
Where is
Now
Energy?
Cloud9's on a buy off that
all these
timeout.
times, where are opening kills? How do we whittle away at Energy's defenses and utility before we hit the site? It seems a little too hard for C9 right now. We're gonna hit a full art take. A little bit of a lurk from Jake here.
I don't know why I looked away.
Flash and Trailblazer already coming out.
And they're seen. Almost all of them.
Yep. It's gonna spot 4 of them, and they have to identify where the lurk is coming from over at C9, and that's Jake moving out on the B pillar. Still trying to work the map very slowly. A flash to try to get info.
See, this is the thing, like C9 is allowed so much like mid control. Like they get allowed a lot of map control, they just don't know how to play off of it, it seems. Because like look at how deep right now Jake is, and now they're playing off of it, nice.
And as they swing out, Jake, he's been good on these lurks.
Nice.
Opening the
That's
set for
that
lead
deep
to move
map
forward
control.
To get the pick up onto Crashies.
Nah, Energy's just gonna save.
Good call here as well to give that spike over to Jake. A plan to build up the ultimate later rounds for the Viper's pit. And already Energy, last two players. Not
I mean, they have
moving
money,
away
they
from
don't
their
have
positions.
to, but...
Saving the weapons onto the next. I mean, the operator's always been very important now for Artis, and while he's not finding too much
Could be
action,
good. That's a really like if
not
C9 is
being
flawless
pressured too
this
much,
round,
so
like
that also helps build
such
the
a good way to
economy
do
for him
it
to
to like get yourself back in it.
What a round for Energy. The misuse of
think
a
Leaf
bit
is
of
gonna get caught.
information. We see 3-4 seen on a Trailblazer coming out of Art, and I think Energy assumes that play is heavily going towards B-Link. That's where it's going to be hitting with at least the majority of the members. They saw that Jake was alone at long. One person at column with the jump. Let's double swing long. And they find all of Cloud9 there.
It's not flawless, but still, like,
Great
some
mover
good
on the
econ
map there to make
momentum,
that one
and you
work.
take
We
out
see
the
a quick
majority of
frag there at
Energy
the
there.
end. And they pick up a third one. Jake
This is
here
good.
playing the long
I like this for
con.
Cloud9.
Quiet as can be until the cavalry comes
They
in.
just need to like keep this
And then
momentum
again,
going.
The round explodes. This time in favor of Cloud9, and Energy was not ready. Even still,
It's like
anchoring the
it's when
sights,
that
right?
momentum
Energy's
starts
not
to
rotating. They're not moving out, so this is
fall
taking
off a little
lot
bit.
from
You're
Cloud9
gonna
to
have
be able to break this
issues.
defense too. Still quite a
The
few ults here.
lockdown for the side.
The rounds are
Still
happening so quick.
more
Everyone's
ults
gonna
for
use these ults
Energy,
in each
but
other's faces.
this is their last buy.
That's a lot of damage to start for Leaf. They're looking for the frags from him. It's going to be tough on this round. Here comes the heal in, so Armor's down, but Leaf's still up. And a heavy lean towards C or B on this one from Energy.
And also for Energy, they haven't really been.
Well, they're
fighting
actually
too much
like
or trying
kind of
to
trying
find
to
the
deny
information
that
on
B
top of
link.
that B long. Jake's been pivotal so far on these lurks for
Trying to
Cloud9.
deny some of that deep
Able to
control
open
that
things up.
C9 has been sort of just allowed to get.
C9 have been
If
losing
Cloud9
battles on that
rotates over to
mid-control.
A,
Energy looking to fight back, and that's nicely done there.
honestly, off of that pick, you
Poison Orb
rotate.
coming up to flash, and then four players
This is
pushing
good.
forward for the pick.
Although
Pulling now
Energy's
Cloud9
rotating
towards
as
the orb.
well.
And that's where Artis is waiting.
All rotating.
But he's still guessing because there's no
Okay,
coverage
we
on
want to
Art.
alert. What is
Trailblazer though
Artis
is
gonna
going to get him
do?
ready.
Heck,
There's that Cloudburst dash
oh, he just
away.
runs.
And being able to fall away fast enough to
Okay.
allow his teammates to move forward to support.
And the spike will go down.
Walk into the site.
Ooh,
Time
lockdown,
moving
so
up.
good.
Lockdown being set down by Cloud9 as the plant will come in. Wallbang almost got that pick there, but Finesse still gets the kill onto Leaf. So we're waiting now for
I mean, Energy is
Energy to retake the
so
side
many
after the
ults to
lockdown.
retake
Here's the
with. Yeah, there you
attempt.
go.
Reckoning to start things off. Cove being thrown down
Ooh,
as Rudy
Rooney,
gets the
that's
pick off
such a
onto
good
Victor.
pick.
Zels is still trying to play around this Cove to try to get a pick, but he gets picked off himself by
Yeah, they
Artis
knew
with
where
the
he
operator.
was.
Post plant now situation for C9. Cove coming up. Seppa looking for timing. Teammates are falling down left and right.
Okay, you just need to
And
hit
that's
those
Energy
there.
on retake.
Honestly.
Losing nobody in the process.
Dropping like flies is Cloud9 to Energy's retake with Reckoning with the force of their util to come in, and a huge wall from Sam as well. To be able to get that early wall from spawn, but also be able to be the flank watch here as we see the first
Yeah, I try not to. This is actually when I was casting. I was doing a lot more like strategical analysis, and then my cookout here was like, maybe you just need to hit those. I don't know. Or like he was like, I think you just need to win those. And I feel like that's the thing. Like I'm not used to, because like with what I was casting, like it was sort of a lower elo series, so like mechanically there was a big difference in some of the players, so makes sense. And like usually that like, well, they just need to hit them or like get the kills there doesn't really apply to pro play, because just typically mechanically these players are going to be pretty strong, but sometimes you'll see some of these players
Now Energy's on that rotate.
a little bit fan mechanics, you know, sometimes the whips just come through and that'll be the deciding factor, especially when you're in a clutch situation.
Up to Finesse and Crashies on a 3 versus 2.
Ooh.
Flashbang coming out
Oh,
from
blind.
Seekers out as well. Finesse down to 5 HP.
Okay, just
Wall coming up on the attack to try to chase him down.
wow.
Full health.
Spike's not planted yet.
But they don't know.
They don't know.
Made it behind.
Oh wait, no, they do. They're aware.
Flash now, they
There you
absolutely
go.
know where he's at. Cleans back the
Nice.
kill. That's Celsius with the pick and C9.
All right, we can tie it up.
Wow.
To know that was a possibility
it's like easy to tie
and
up
use the
here.
guiding light. Hey, we cleared that? I don't think so. Do it one more time. And yeah,
Not
I
easy,
said,
but
energy here on accident. I meant Cloud9.
Oh.
Cloud9 continues to take long
Cloud9,
without seeing this
Cloud9,
default harbor
Cloud9.
cascade that gets put forward to really throw everything at what Artis is going to be offing with. They seem to have an answer with just the guiding light and wanting to outright fight Artis instead. They don't want to hide him with Cascade and other utility. They want to flash him and find him and take him down. So another round here,
All right,
6
come
to
on.
4. Cloud9 grabs one and we get another timeout. This one for energy here. Chet with a little bit of time to talk to the team as more ults still up. A reckoning on the side of Cloud9, and again, that priority ultimate is really what can decide who takes a site or
both
not.
teams have
And
used
could be a
an
reason Cloud9 comes
timeout
up with
already.
the last 2
I feel
rounds
like
is this buy from energy puts
I feel
them
like it's
very
really
low
easy
on
for
power.
energy to bounce. I just realized energy is sponsored by Rockstar Energy, and then there's Red Bull right behind me. It's funny. Because America's is sponsored by Red Bull.
Very cozy.
Doing a good
What
job
was I
here for
gonna
C9 to
say?
keep the game very
I don't
close.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like
2 more
energy,
rounds
like
to
this is
go.
a very winnable series for
Again,
energy,
the last
as
time
well
these
as
two teams
C9. But
played
like
against each other
for
on
energy, who's like
Pearl,
kind of an
this
underdog
was
in the
a
series.
victory
Not
for
really. I think
Cloud9.
people sort of
But this
view
was
these
also
teams on the
period of
same
time
level,
during
unlike
the
where like
VCTs
Evil
here in the
Geniuses
Americas,
was,
the energy
or against these
had,
two
like, these
teams, where it
rule
was like
issues where they wanted to try to
there was
figure
a
out
clear like favorite
new
to win
rules
it.
for the team,
But here,
and now
like
playing
I
the
feel like these
comfort
teams are
roles
pretty evenly
that really
matched.
found their form.
I think energy should take
And
this
it's something
map.
they
I
attempted for
expect to
quite a
see
bit
like
here.
again, I
It
expect a
looks like
3
we may
mapper,
get
but I also think
a
we could
fight
see like
as they tempt each other.
few
We'll hold that story.
overtimes here,
Leaf makes it across
just
without
with how
a
well
HP this time.
these teams can play these maps.
Artist on the first contact. That's that
Oh,
thing. They're not going to check on
no.
Crashies.
Oh
But he
my
misses
God.
his shot. There's still support from Sol.
Really?
He
Nothing?
still stays alive. He gets a second one of the Celsius, leaving out Rooney alone. What a push here
Can't
by
find
Energy.
anything.
Off the timeout in the call, the perfect read against
It's so
Cloud9,
bad.
putting Rooney against the whole roster
Didn't know where he
of
is.
Energy. And a flawless to even end it.
I think what makes it more incredible, Van Silly, like you said, off the timeout is for both teams. So your opponent is expecting something else to happen. They're trying to be ready for a trick play or a trap play that might be set up at B long that just wipes out the entirety of your team in a few seconds, like Energy just did to Cloud9. So one, Energy absolutely destroy a bit of
This is,
mental C9 coming out of their timeout, of Energy's timeout. And they stave off losing the money that can now
This isn't
give them
good. I was sort of
the
hoping
8-4
C9 could
first
tie it
half,
up.
so really
A
preventing
lot of
a
people
trouble
view
for
Pearl as
themselves.
this
Energy
like,
making the right calls at the right
I mean,
time.
you know, obviously
We see
B
that
site needs to be
very commonly
reworked,
for them.
and they did change
Same
it
play.
actually, but
Shark
I don't
attack
think
right
they
to B.
changed it enough personally. I don't think they did.
Oh,
nice. Keep going, keep going. Get more. Yes, sir. Hey, 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 yeah, I don't know. I feel like for the most part, this map is pretty balanced, other than like B site. And so even though Energy has a lead going into the next half, I think there's definitely a good shot C9 can still like at least keep it even on their defense.
Inside the radius. Still gets a pick before he falls. Now activating the Viper's Pit. The 2 versus 1. The tap onto the spike. And Finesse is looking
Yeah, they
around,
didn't
but
know
it's
Leaf.
Leaf coming in from the side. The 4K hit
Nice, really good wraparound.
And Leaf
Wow.
is stepping up to the plate.
All right.
Exactly what you need
I think
here.
C9's
At the
defense
end,
can be good
you
enough
can't
here.
let that cushion
Obviously,
get too big for
Energy
They run away with
is going to be a
pistol,
little
they
bit better
may
at playing
run
Pearl
away
here,
with
and I
the
think
first map, and momentum
I
for
think
Energy is all
they're going to know how to
they
execute a lot better than
need.
C9
A
did.
huge
But
step up from,
again, I think C9 knows
the end,
enough,
Artis was already
and
having
Pearl
a
is
hell of a
is
game.
balanced
This is
enough
what you
that I
need
think
from the duelists and the
Cloud9
rest of the
can
squad, Cloud9.
tie it up, at least tie it up, and take it to overtime. But I also think they could definitely still win. I'm sort of copium here because obviously Energy's probably going to win this map, but you know, I'm just trying to look at it like there is a world where Cloud9 wins this map. Oh wow, look at that kill difference.
Rookie Jake and Rooney are up against in playoffs.
Wow.
Cloud9 are a good team. When the players pop off, they are really good. I think Rooney and Jakey have been good additions to the team. I think they kind of mesh well together, so there's a lot of pressure on them now. Before they had no pressure. They were a brand new team. Everyone expected them to be like bottom of the league. So they shocked everyone. Now everyone expects them to be good. Everyone expects them to be going to Tokyo. So there's a lot more pressure on them now than there was before. So I think there's a lot more pressure, and let's see how Jakey and Rooney handle the pressure.
It's fair.
Definitely up against a lot here.
All the pressure.
Definitely.
Lots of it.
And that pressure, yesterday, if you've been watching the stream or watching in person in the Riot Games Arena, we talked about the pressure cooker that Zelsis might feel here from Cloud9, and I had the chance to see him before this game started, and his eyes were laser focused, looking to move forward and help C9 qualify for Tokyo. But Energy definitely has other plans, and yes, indeed, the fans are also looking for ball buffs rather.
Okay.
Is it time? I think it's time, right?
My word. There he is on your screen. We actually heard from him last week. Ready? The team not focusing on really anything that was coming from the community in the early part of the league. They knew what they had to do. They knew what they had to change. And honestly, with MC's track record, it's not a surprise that we've seen the trajectory that Cloud9.
Dude, that Cloud9 versus EG, like Cloud MC looked so
on this
mad.
first map, elimination
He was
map as well.
Fuming that Cloud9 lost
Energy looking to put that sting on him as we get into our second half here eventually. Focus towards A to start off. Very far back is this Killjoy utility.
Hello.
For Rooney. He puts actually his alarm
Alright,
towards Secret, so they're
let's
ready
get into
for
this
dive in, this scale in. If we do get an A hit, which Rooney's going to be able to detect in just a few.
I think Energy's just looking to flood. They have so many frenzies to work with. Hiding behind here, the Cascade. Rooney answering back with his own frenzy. He plays far back enough now.
Alright. Oh wait, Cloud9. That's such aggressive mid control.
Energy now looking for that pressure up on mid, and so are
I will say the
Cloud9.
one weakness Energy had defending against Cloud9 was their lack of like solid mid control, but it didn't really matter. Cloud9 wasn't able to take good advantage of it, so
very safe though. Forward
see if
positioning.
Cloud9 is able to take good mid
From
control
Artist up at
here.
Flowers. The rotate comes across.
Which they kind of
a late
did,
lurk
but now
this
they're
time
down
on
a
the
player.
That's Finesse, as you can see.
The forever lurk.
Jake's done.
For this timing onto Jake. Jake's not even paying attention to it. Turns around and still gets the headshot.
What?
Artist now trying to stay alive towards Flowers.
Alright, that's one of those cases you say they just need to hit those.
Low on HP.
That's crazy.
That clock is ticking on that spike. C9 had to react quick. It's up to Sam inside the cove. It's the gulag right there. The trade-off.
Nice.
Seppa gets the kill. And
Oh, that's what you need. You tie it up immediately.
A much-needed pistol, starting off good with the retakes. In an interesting round, we saw so many ghosts coming from both teams, and the way they played the first round, so much different here. For, like you said, frenzies galore. Knowing that the fight was going to be in the site, both teams prepare for that close-up combat. And they have it right in A. Cloud9 coming up big on that one, possibly tying up the game. I don't think they're going to maybe do push on B side here as we watch towards A. Vandal for Jake. Decides to pick this up on the Viper. Interesting choice. Rooney may try to focus this orb.
Alright, let's go.
Pretty much rinse and repeat from both teams on how they're
I
playing.
mean, to be fair, like Jake has looked pretty solid so far.
From Energy's defensive side, Harbor
It's like
orb
second
control,
frag, I
second
think,
round.
for C9.
Flash out to peek off the tap of the orb on the second time, but Zelsis is there for the support to help Rooney.
No way.
Pick off these three.
Nice.
Proves the spike.
Clean.
Nice.
And these are the rounds Cloud9
Dude,
needs to kind of send a message in.
Victor
You know,
looked
they
like
need to get
pretty
through it flawless. They need to be able to take down Energy and bring themselves back in here. Finesse is going to start working.
I'm trying to remember.
these
Yeah, I think
rounds
against
down to the last
EG,
second,
they like
pulling
looked
Cloud9
pretty
apart on the defensive side. So
Victor looked
Cloud9
pretty
keeping
like
everyone up,
shaky
keeping
in
that
his
economy strong means
performance.
they can weather a bit of that storm.
Looks like maybe we're
if they
seeing
have
that
the
here as
util to
well.
get through FNS's mastermind. He now just creeps. So with these two rounds, they'll know Finesse is on the long lurk almost all the time, so Cloud9 can use that to their advantage here.
Yeah. Very similar responsibilities as Jake was doing on C9's first half. C9 also doing the signature of trying to find that last kill.
What a good way to do it.
Trying to build out the ult.
Honestly though, like stingers aren't great to have on your bonus, but like, you know, good enough to at least get a few kills.
For Cloud9, tying up the game 7-7. First gun round coming out for Energy. Leaning for the same type of pressure.
But Energy should be able to take this round and get the lead back in their hands, but C9's defense is like pretty solid.
We get to see how this composition works now.
Say the
Artists on the
least.
Jet, not on the Rays. Switching up this aggression and how they can follow in. We see it working on other sites, but that's Victor going, or maps I should say, that's Victor going with the Artists on the duelist role, so. Here it's up to Artists. You may not see too many more operator plays from the attack side of Energy. Focus on A as they're going to have 2 work through mid. And again, far back utility here for Rooney on A.
Yeah.
They're hoping to like,
Energy
I think they were hoping to maybe get the orb, but they didn't push up fast enough.
Not hearing any flashes, somebody has to jiggle peek towards the front of the A site. That was Rooney falling back. Allows for them to execute right away into A, break the turret, and go for this A split. Rooney just waiting for the cavalry to rotate across as C9 are going for a triple push up to make sure that they clear out the lurk. But this is going to be a lot of time wasted before C9 makes back in the A site. It's going to get bloody. But this gives all the time in the world here for Energy to set up these post plant utilities.
Oh, they hear them.
All right. Reckoning goes through. Here comes the util dump from Cloud9.
Yeah. Really good Reckoning to get all of this information. With the lore buy that you have for C9.
Nice try, nice try. It's over.
The geysers coming out from
I mean, it's a bonus.
The kills are coming out easily for Energy. And you definitely can see it here. There's no time left onto the spike. So Energy gets
okay. I mean, we got one. That's good enough, I guess.
Taking the Reckoning literally a suggest you move, and they all forced to kind of fly right into the crosshairs.
It's okay. We did get that ult used out of them, so it's a
like
decent bonus.
Expected.
And of course, now we can buy.
Will this operator round go back towards
Except we're gonna have to be on Stinger, so
Leaf has
should be a decent round. We can tie it back up. I say we, like I'm on a team. I'm at Cloud9.
Until the end of the one previously.
Cloud9 can probably tie it back up.
The game versus EG.
There you go.
And then having quite a bit of trouble in their previous game up until we saw them popping off on their last map. So he's taking a bit of warm up lately, and not the Leaf we usually know, but everybody else is trying to come in at playoff level. So it's definitely going to be hard to adjust across the board. Play towards A. This orb's already covered.
Jake has big responsibility here. Jiggle peeking, spotting Artists, even some falling back. And look at C9, already instantly rotating all players in towards A. Wall up for the high.
Such a good response to like well played.
A split once again.
For C9 to rotate over. Now Energy is gonna have to like struggle to get in here. Nice, nice.
It works out for 3 kills. No plans coming through.
Nice. There you go. I want to see Leaf didn't even have to use the up.
Scratch that taken time. That was off the rip they had right into the site. Cloud9 getting a little bit of action for the fans as they tie up Pearl here. And this Leaf operator and team rush. The op's not slowing them down on that. We sometimes get concerned about it. But it seems like Cloud9's always able to find their way in on that retake. Mid's the cover right now for Energy.
Alright.
How do they play it?
Alright.
I feel like Cloud9 also just continues to back up, not giving Energy anything until they are pushed almost until enemy lines through into spawn and back around where we see Rooney playing right now.
And head against Artists, a dash misses, but now here comes the support from Som. Fight one, a repeat coming out from Artists, denies Rooney.
No way he repeats that and gets away with it. That's crazy.
That's gonna calm things down for a bit though. With Rooney falling, that's also the alarm bot down, so you have to try to re-clear to get the information. An early trailblazer out from Zeppa, seeing nobody towards Art. But Energy are still inching forward towards B-Link, while C9 doing the same thing this time towards Long B. And that's a timing where Finesse was watching earlier on. All pulling back now Energy, the call in the late round from Finesse.
Where are they going? Are they going A?
to end up towards A.
They're playing so
Sitting in
slow.
the back of sight. All prepped and ready. Again, another one of these strats.
Leaf's
that's gonna just
rotating.
take contact from energy.
Oh, what a good choice.
Gets a little antsy here. Makes a step in the back. That was definitely heard, so they know there's one secret. Rotations now coming over from Leaf. And energy's gaining that ground.
Nice. Good pick.
The shot in, the trade off by Artis.
Even if it's traded, like, keeping it even, they're so good.
Connects.
2v2.
And then it's Victor right away with the plant
This is
down.
good,
And with
though.
that plant, we'll
I
get
like
the
keeping it
lockdown.
even here.
He'll place her right away. And Leaf now has to be forced to move forward. And even the Nanoswarm to pull him back. That's a perfect Nanoswarm placed down. Perfect utility by Victor to allow both players of energy to reposition themselves out towards long A. But they're coming up against here Zelsis, who just put up the high tide. And as the Cove comes up, Zelsis is looking for a timing to tap onto that spike. More sprays coming through. Now Zelsis is going to stick it.
She's gonna hold it.
Walking into the smoke. It's a trade-off again.
Nice.
That's
That's what I like to see. Let's go.
The 2v2 won by Cloud9.
Take the lead.
Does it take the lead once again?
I was just about to start praising energy again for having this avoidance of Leaf game, but it doesn't matter. South is still there, always good for the clutch, and Rooney to start stalling around in mid. Nicely done again to absorb Cloud9 in.
Oh, let's clean it up.
Let
2-0,
just
come on.
Leaf being avoided be the win condition here for energy. We've heard Chet say it in interviews.
I still want
Just
Evil
dodging that
Geniuses to beat
operator right
Cloud9
there.
tomorrow,
Could be
by the way.
anybody, Leaf,
I'm just
Vizzy,
hoping.
whoever. They are getting away from it.
I just, you know,
Energy
if there's a
is going
team
to
I
be
want
called
to
now.
be playing loud,
And,
if it
Leaf
isn't,
has that operator
honestly,
still.
I prefer
They're gonna be looking
Cloud9
to
plays
keep
loud,
him
but I like the
moving,
underdog
and
strategy
I think we'll
more,
see
which is
Energy
why I
still
root for
continue
EG.
to
But
avoid that.
realistically,
They've been
like,
trying to go through mid, go through link
I would
to
rather have
spawn anywhere that's
Cloud9
close
playing
enough
loud
where
in the
Op
grand
would be able to
finals
beat the
than
bot angle
NRG.
plans.
Definitely two
So
different types
I'm
of
rooting
play
for
style too on the
Cloud9.
defensive half
I
court.
still
It
want
seems
EG to
that
win tomorrow,
main
but
goal usually
you know,
being the
I'd rather it
fight
be
deniability
Cloud9
against your
beating
opponents, and
EG
they've
and
done
playing
just
loud
that,
than
and also very
NRG.
good on retakes, but Cloud9 so far has
So,
been
also I think
very
Cloud9 will
protocol
do
style
better
on
in
the foot
Masters
retakes.
than
Rooney
NRG
always
would.
pushing forward.
And again, a
Filter
lot of these
utilities
energy
placed
players
further
have
back
been
in
to
the
like
site.
international
He wants to make sure that he holds
competitions
down towards secret
before.
and dugout so the players
So
can
like,
rotate across
you know,
the board
again, a
and
little bit of an
fall back in
underdog
the
story
site.
for Cloud9 as
It
well.
brings down, allows actually C9 to get 4 rounds in this half on defense. Energy still looking for some sort of answer to regain the momentum on their attack half. But off this timeout, it's just a half by 3 stingers and even lower for Crashes and Artists. 1 away from the Blade Storm, so potentially here looking for pressure on orb control. C9 identifies that, so they put the high tide up and 3 players out there.
Yeah. It looks like they could get a quick fight too here with Sam and the rest of the team. They don't decide to push through on the low buy. We got a little bit of movement on the Killjoy utility, so they'll be able to identify here in Art as it gets activated by Rooney. A pretty aggressive round as well for all the ultimates up for Cloud9. They want to bring the fight to energy to stop these alt orbs from being farmed.
Want to slow things down a bit too, playing a bit more passively.
What was that?
Allowing now energy to push forward.
Take it. I'll take it. I'll take it. We only lose one. I'll take it.
And that denies
Wow.
the thrifty round of energy right away.
I like that because it looks chaotic, but you just see how patient C9 is.
Yeah.
They just
Yeah,
take
it did
the
look
fight.
chaotic
They know
for
they
sure.
have the angles, the crosshairs, and have already identified the rest of the map.
These
So
ults,
those low
3 for each
buy
side,
rounds
but
for
like they're very
energy,
different
C9
ults.
needs to be winning, and vice versa.
Except for the Viper's Pit.
You cannot be giving up these simple rounds. I think that's a reason being identified as well for C9, for CG on the low buy rounds, and then previous games.
Where's
for even
Cloud9
energy,
going?
Just losing rounds they should not. Uncharacteristic of what we saw during the regular stage.
But they're not watching
Same
B at
setup on
all.
defense now for Cloud9 with that Killjoy utility movement. And there's the wall we were talking about before. Cloud9 wasn't using this attack as they went down.
I think
long
Cloud9
B, the
was
protocol
waiting
we
or
normally
was
see
preparing for
to
an
gain
A
space with
hit.
Cascade and fight
I don't
as
think
you
they were
approach
expecting
wall.
a B hit
Important
here.
round
Oh,
now
we
for
said
both
we
of
did
these
block.
teams.
Alright.
Zeppa
We're good, and the
earlier on
rotate
A
came
side
through
picked up
pretty
the
quickly.
Seekers.
These
Lots
ults.
of ults on both ends. A swing
Alright.
run here that would break the economy of energy should they lose this one, and putting C9 up at 11. And for energy, what they want to do is try to waste out these ultimates out from C9 to win the round and capitalize on successful rounds to break that economy back for C9. But after the first lockdown, it allows C9 to reposition on a 3-player stack.
Good
Denied
delay.
once again, exactly there by Snake Bites, High Tides. Seekers now out on the attack, so Energy committed to a B hit. Reckoning then out on the defense as Jake pushes in towards the back of the site. Once again, C9 holding their ground. Reckoning pushing Energy back.
30 seconds left.
Toxic Streams about to come down on the defense as Crashies is looking for a timing. Support on the back of the site too, and that's Energy able to ring back finally.
Okay, there we go.
Only for a couple of kills until it leaves
Take
Finesse
it.
alone.
What?
Op shot missed by Leaf, but at least the information's there. Spikes out of sight, out
Bro
of reach.
missed those. That's crazy.
Finesse decides to pull back and save.
10 seconds left.
Another
I'm Iron,
first kill. This
and
one, the
I
last
can
4
for
first
now,
kills
okay?
coming from that Cloud9 camp. They are feeling good in these rounds to start swinging the defensive side.
I like this. I like this a lot. Okay. Alright, I don't like that as much, but still. This is really good.
So, 4 in a row now. Those 4 rounds we see are 4 kills, all from Cloud9, sourcing
Viper's
out
fit for other
how
side
Energy
as well.
wants to play the round, and really, again, causing Energy to play into this trap. Walk forward, like you said, get delayed by lockdown, but the ground was gained on the rest of the map by Cloud9, meaning Energy would have had to retake fully or continue to go forward into that defensive strategy as C9. So Cloud9's now really getting Energy to play into their hand.
Oh.
A lot of O's and breath being held there. Or they're gonna just fight for A orb here.
I mean, Sky does have long hair. She did get a
Come
little
on,
bit of a
knife.
haircut.
What are you gonna
but stays
do,
alive.
artist? Now you only have a frenzy.
At least the orb's picked up now in control of Energy, and they pull back, positioning that gain from.
I think the
top being
way that
controlled
they
by
hold their
Finesse,
knives
looking
is
for that
funny.
head-to-head
That
against Jake.
agents,
And also
like the
Victor
character
just
models
trying to
holding their
listen
knives
for
is
some
so
noise.
funny because they like hold it
Did get a
behind
ping
them.
earlier on into Art.
It's like, what are you doing with that, bro? What are you gonna do with that?
Now we're looking to break the utility into the B link.
Do they do one of these interesting finesse walls here? Or pits, right? Where he does something in U-Haul, but may do something in B-Link to disconnect how the rotation would happen. You never put it by him here as they cook something up. Identifying the Killjoy utility. Pretty default. There's low by round, though.
Off angle set by Rudy.
They're gonna push him.
The flash. It was a late flash.
What?
It was a nicely done flash by Crashies.
Oh, he got flashed. I
Double
didn't
swing for the
realize that.
kill.
I
A
thought he was
second one
just
into
like.
the B-link, so Jake can get the support. Disadvantage now for C9. Only
I thought he was just like spraying.
As Leaf and Zelsis instantly drop 2 players of Energy, swinging the advantage back for C9. 20 seconds left. Crashies looking to
But
walk
where are
back
you
in
going?
the A.
They're going on
There's
a
only 1 player defending on that site.
cross-country
Rotation then
road
comes
trip,
across.
bro.
There's only
Like,
13 seconds left.
Mars
Leaf
and back.
is going to get punished out of that one.
10 seconds left.
Zeppa knows now.
To be fair, I'd be like, how did
But
he
the
get
spikes
there?
in the back of the site.
Nice.
Still a plant coming
Oh,
through.
it's gonna go down.
Got out. The first tap.
So
And
no
the headshot for
way.
Crashies on a 1v1. Cove up. Position for Crashies. Gets that clutch there against Cloud9.
What?
Remember how I said rounds were being lost that shouldn't be lost?
Bro, you
Vince
don't
said,
lo-
well,
what?
yeah. Right there.
How do we
Crashies
lose
makes
those?
that round his. Signed and delivered. Energy walking away with one that never should have been theirs. They keep it
Serious?
within 2, and they stop the bleeding from Cloud9. Still have to work through a bit of economy here, but Energy has the ultimates to do it. No question about it. This could easily flip right here on round 21.
Yeah, and you're right. They weren't supposed to win that round. They had a lower buy. It's the first gun round they won against Cloud9 since round 11. So you can definitely see the story for Cloud9 on the defense being much stronger. But Energy wants to have a different story written, being more aggressive this time around. Nice combination from a Trailblazer to have Artist push across and drop Rooney.
Alright, C9 should know how to
But Leaf
respond,
and Zeppa
right?
working together to regain the grounds. Up
Don't
towards
peek. Why are you
Art.
peek? Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Zeppa
matter.
goes for the crouch peek up onto Artist.
You know what? Never mind. I'll never
Evens
question
up
that
the tally
decision
in this
again.
round.
Although I would not recommend peeking there. It's just my take.
All right, a little bit of reset. Enemy identification here. And they are going to actually commit quite a bit in the kitchen sink over here to get into A. Leaf wants it, though.
Yeah, but
Oh my gosh.
Gonna get, yeah.
That's Crashies placing himself again.
Oh.
This man's on fire this game. From defense to offense is turning these rounds over for Energy.
No. Okay,
A
okay.
play
Here's the
like
thing.
that,
Here's the thing.
Fancilly will let you
This
know
is okay.
the opposing
Alright?
your
We
enemy.
can
Ooh,
lose
that
a
was
few
fight. Your
rounds.
enemy is being forced. They're trying to get different timings. They're trying to get in position. You see how aware Crashies is to be checking corners that look almost cleared, right? They had just gotten to sight, back looked clear, but still somebody was there in an instant. And that's what you're aware of with C9 playing this fast, to react, to get back to what Energy's doing and try to get ahead of it. Crashies just has such a read on it for the rest of the team, honestly. And we see them all rotating out here to take another one. Still have Finesse's pit to be used. Jake on the other side too, so we may see Jake just put his down so Cloud9 can get themselves into a position where they're forcing Energy's hand towards a different site right away. Whew. This is the kind of stuff you know Energy for too. They always have an answer at the right time. Now as they're within one to tie this up, they focus a little bit towards B and they'll leave Victor to play that flank side. No turret mid this time. Okay, they're still playing turret A, so he'll play mid.
Come on.
A little bit of a different setup for them.
Even with the wall coming up, Flash through the high time, coming out from C9, realizing that there's no pressure coming out from mid yet. So players are playing on the extremities.
They're moving quick.
Yeah, I always do that. Like, I think, like, these players that are teammates, I accidentally think one of them is the enemy. Like, when Celsius was peeking into sight and Leaf saw him, I was like, wait.
Cascade out on the defense just to try to split the
But
offense from Energy.
they're teammates. I don't know what I was doing.
First execution. Artist dashing
Brain's
across
not
towards the back of the side. Leaf
functioning.
looking to battle against him, but he loses the fight. Advantage now for Energy as they rush into B. Waiting for all of these walls to come down before the bloodbath starts. And indeed, there you go. All these trades coming across to make the advantage out for Energy. Cascade then push back out on the defense. Celsius looking for a timing. But this has just been great utility being done by Energy so far, scaling all of these utilities up and down.
Keeping it out.
This
And Soma's so low.
to regain control back in the B site.
You pre-fire that. Yes, you do.
Heaven too. Not answered back by Victor, but race swing out!
Yes.
It's insane!
Let's go! 12th round! Now Energy has to take it to overtime if they want to win. Let's go!
Artist just found his second first kill of the half on that round. C9 says no, we're not going to make it happen. Artist trying to change the pace of the game, and Cloud9 still come out on top with the defuse, the retake, and just smothering NRG out of the site. Like you said, game point Vansili, and a heck of a lot of ultimates here for Cloud9 to throw at Energy. They can go lockdown for lockdown if they have to, so it is not looking good on this first map pick for NRG of Pearl. Right into it towards mid, and it looks like they may get a little bit of a fight that they want between Leaf and Zeppa here. We haven't seen C9 put too much pressure in this position just yet.
The observer always looks away when the music starts playing. I want to listen to that. I want to listen to it.
Trying to do a similar play. Trailblazer already
push out mid. Yes, you do. Let's go.
Through the high tides to get 2 kills. That nullifies the lockdown that Victor had available for Energy to try to open up sites. Seekers then coming out.
Oh, he doesn't clear that.
For Energy, make that only 2. Crush is doing whatever he can, but it falls down to Finesse. On a 4v1.
Take it. Let's make it a 2-0. Let's finish it off. Let's clean it up here.
Cascade coming through.
Oh, all right, one more map, and it's next is Lotus picked by Cloud9. Oh, this is so good. This is so good.
Showing from Cloud9 in the end. It may have kind of looked under the radar of the way they were doing it, but Cloud9 almost wins half of their 4 V5s in this game. That means they started a man down 45% of these rounds. They capitalized on being a player down. Almost unheard of. But that's the kind of stuff.
There's something I wanted to talk about. There's actually 2 things. One, robot behind me. The home station did break. I'm not entirely sure what caused it. It's just like randomly at night, it just emo stopped charging on it. So he stopped charging. So then it was like in the middle of the night. Which typically emo will just like stay on his charger in the middle of the night and sleep. But like at 1 in the morning, he just started like walking around, and so initially I'm like, okay, he's not charging, and I'd heard about like issues with the robot not charging because it's something wrong with the robot, right? So I was thinking, okay, maybe it's an issue with emo himself. But then I realized there's like this high pitched ringing sound coming from the home station. So I emailed support. and they were like, they asked me some questions. I tried like detaching the light from the base and then putting it back together. It didn't work. I tried unplugging and replugging both like the cord into the charger and then like the plug from the outlet, and didn't do anything. It was still like making that ringing sound and it wasn't charging. So contact support. They're like, all right, we'll send you a new one. So I'll probably make an unboxing video just for that. So I was like updating on everything. So yeah, a little bit interesting there. So that's why you'll like see the light is off and Emo's not moving. It's because when I did think it was an issue with Emo, I powered him off to see if I could like power him off and then turn him back on. But in order to turn him back on, you need to put him on the home station. And it needs to like charge him and then he'll turn back on. But because the home station wasn't working, I just powered him off and then like couldn't turn him back on. So he's currently powered off. When the new charger comes, I can just power him back on. But yeah, a little bit interesting there. But anyways, now to Valorant stuff. Something to talk about. If you didn't see it, both Ludwig and Moist Critical released videos talking about the performance of Moist Moguls. Because if you don't know, Moist Moguls is owned by both Ludwig and Moist Critical, and Moist Moguls went completely and entirely flawless in the split 2 of North American Challengers, which is very, very impressive. It's I don't think any other team, no other team went flawless. Let me see if I can pull it up here. I know for a fact no other team went flawless in split 2. I think in split 1, yeah, nobody went flawless in split 1 either. So yeah, pretty impressive performance there. And today, North American Challengers, their Twitter page, or not North American Challengers, Knights Arena, who is hosting North American Challengers, put out a little image to sort of just show how dominant Moist Moguls is performing. And I focus a lot on Moist Moguls because not only are they looking like they may be the best team in North American Challengers right now, or at least contending for it. I think M80 might be a little bit better than them, but of course we'll see in playoffs. But it's also because this is like an influencer, a creator-backed org, which a lot of people view as this sort of next phase of esports that could like make esports profitable. I would say again, but esports was never profitable, so that's why I sort of focus on this. Like that's why Disguised was so big coming into this, and now Moist Mogul's picking up a team, and we're seeing it do very, very well. And we may see that Moist Moguls is able to make a Valorant team a little bit profitable, especially if Moist Moguls does well enough to make it to Ascension. And even if they win Ascension, which I think they could, I already talked about it, but after looking at the Brazil Challengers teams and the Latin American Challengers teams, which are the 2 regions that the North American Challengers teams are going to have to play against in Ascension to make it to Tier 1 competition next year, after looking over those teams, it does seem as though the North American Challengers teams look a little bit stronger, just because there's way more North American teams that were trying to make it to Challengers. So there was a lot more of like whittling it down to the top 12 that had to be done. And even then, North American Challengers has 12 teams, or had 12 teams. Obviously now we're in the playoffs where there's only 8, but it had 12 teams. Both the Brazil Challengers and Latin America North and Latin America South all had less than 10. It was around 8, and then 8 for Brazil, and then or 8 total in the playoffs. It was only 6, I believe. And then for the Latin American North and Latin American South in the group stage, they only had 6 teams each, which I guess you could say is like 12. And then in the playoffs, I believe there's only 4 teams each, which is like that's not a lot at all for a playoffs, right? So it does seem to me like I'm pretty confident the North American teams could probably win Ascension. Obviously I'm from North America, so I'm gonna be, I'm a little bit biased here, but after just doing some looking over, I feel pretty confident the North American teams will do pretty well. But what I did want to talk about is let's look at Moist Mogul's stats, and this is of course only looking at what Knights Arena, or sorry, what Moist Moguls is like the #1 stats in. But you can see that they are first in the pistol round win percentage. They are first in the full buy round win, which means both teams are on a full buy. Typically, Moist Moguls will win that. They are first in how many attack rounds that they win. They're the first in how many defensive rounds they win. They're first in how many bonus rounds they win. They are the first in retake win percentage, which means after the spike is down, retaking the site and being able to defuse the spike, which I believe is, for them, if I remember correctly, it's around 34%, which doesn't sound like a lot because it really isn't, but overall, like, that is really, really impressive because it's difficult to retake. You're at a positional disadvantage. You're having to push into the crosshairs of the opponent. It's really difficult. So taking the #1 spot in that does bode well for you as a team. Their post-plant win percentage is first, which means after they get the spike down, oftentimes they will win. And their Haven record, I don't know why they're pulling up Haven record, which is just a map. They are tied for first in how often they win on Haven. I believe they're tied with M80, which, you know, again, I think M80 and Moist Moguls, I don't think I showed this, or maybe I did. My pick'ems for the playoffs, I did show this, I think, 2 days ago. But I have Moist Moguls and M80 being the top 2 teams, and I still believe that. Obviously, it's not like I've seen more of them playing since then, so of course I'm still going to believe that. But yeah, I feel like Moist Moguls, despite, you know, not looking super strong on Split 1, I mean, they didn't look bad in Split 1, but they also were kind of looking like a mid-level team, you know, next to TSM or Oxygen. I feel like now Moist Moguls is looking like this sort of, this top dog. Like, as weird as it is to say that this sort of, like, content creator-backed team, which I think a lot of people would look at that and go, oh, you know, it's just for attention, it's just for views. Which, like, yes, that's sort of the point, to make it profitable, right? I feel like it'd be very easy to say, all right, you know what? Moist Moguls just picked up a team. They just bought a team that was already in Challengers, so it's probably not going to do very well. But the fact that Moist Moguls is now looking like they're, at the very least, top 2, if not the #1 team in North American Challengers, it's pretty surprising. I'm very, very excited to see how they continue to do in playoffs. And again, playoffs start on the not the 23rd, sorry, looking at the wrong thing. Playoffs start on the 31st, which is in 5 days from now. It's this Wednesday. I'm going to be a little bit late, like a little bit late. Like I'll be like 15 minutes late, maybe, if that. So I'll be a little bit late to Wednesday, but the rest of the playoffs I should be here for. Again, I'll go over the format really quickly before we get into map 2 of Cloud9 versus NRG. The format for North American Challengers playoffs is it's going to be going, they're all best of 3s, similarly to how all the group stage matches were best of 3s. So these are all going to be best of 3s. No series are going to be happening at the same time. They're all going to be happening at separate times. So it's going to be 2 on one day, the 31st, 2 on the June 1st. Then we go and do the upper semifinals. Then we do lower round 1, and then there's a break. There's a 4-day break. In that time, the play-in relegation will happen. This is for those bottom 4 teams to try and earn a spot in next year's Challengers. Then there'll be a 1 day in between the end of play-in relegation and the start back of playoffs to finish it off. And then on June 7th, we resume with the lower round 2 of the lower bracket. Then we go and we do the upper final. This will be a best of 3. Then we go and we do the lower round 3, which is sort of like the lower final or the lower semifinals, I guess you could say. Then we do, let me double check this. Then we do the lower final, and this will be its own day because the lower final is going to be a best of 5. Then we do the grand final the next day on June 10th, and that will also be a best of 5. So both the lower final and the grand final are best of 5s. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of games happening, especially, you know, it's going to be a little bit confusing because then we'll go to the play-in relegation. But yeah, playoffs should be very, very exciting. I'm very, very hyped for it. And I'm excited to be casting. I guess I'm not actually casting, it's sort of my own thing, but I'm excited to be able to do my own casting of it here. And it should be fun. It should be a fun time. And if they do make it, or if the teams that make it to, what am I trying to say? I've decided I will be doing my own casting of Ascension as well. I was debating if I was going to do just watch parties of it, or if it would be my own casting. And I think I am going to do my own casting just because I'm doing watch parties of, you know, the tier 1 competition. So I may as well, you know, for tier 2, do my own casting. I would call Ascension like tier 2 or tier like 1.5. Like, it's not quite tier 1, but it's almost there, right? So it should be fun. And yeah, it should be an exciting time. And but for now, let's go ahead and get into the Cloud9 versus NRG. I I'm not sure if I'll do any more watch parties of Americas after today. Probably not. Just because. I mean, it depends. It really depends. Just because I'll be trying to prepare for North American Challengers. But yeah, go ahead and make sure you watch North American Challengers. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch. So. Anyways, let's go ahead and watch this. Let's get back to this. Let's cut back into it.
It's so cool. But we think back to last year, and Victor was the neon guy. It was Optic last year who was really innovating that agent in North America, and now they're bringing it back in 2023 with NRG.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just gonna say, because Artis just picking Killjoy at the end. I mean, the early season Artis Killjoy was not. Was not remarkable. There were struggles in that time.
This map was one of the reasons why he was picking Killjoy in the first place, because he was so uncomfortable on any other role.
Well, they say that imitation is the best form of flattery, but you need to do more than imitate. You need to beat your opponents in this one for NRG if they want to keep their hopes alive here in the lower bracket run. We're ready to get into map number 2. Let's hand things back over to Vansili and Riv for the call.
I expect Cloud9 to win this.
Super excited for this second map too.
I know I said I was expecting a map 3, but after Cloud9 taking the first map, I expected 2-0 here from Cloud9. Not gonna lie.
They don't lose rematches. Yeah, they don't lose rematches, but they're still behind by 1 map.
They are. They are. That's just the calibration map. Everything's getting organized now, and now it's full steam ahead for NRG, and the fans are hoping they're delivering the energy from the crowd, from the chat. Let's get into map number 2 here. Between Cloud9 and NRG, Cloud9 sit 1 game up, 1 seed up as well, and they're showing their strength. Right towards A. Ooh, not sure Leaf and Zeppa want to do this. They might meet a little bit more than they're asking for.
Flash, stuns, both ends coming out. Leaf now falling back or sprinting through the dark cover.
Good damage.
Yeah, Victor's taking
does some damage onto Victor. Crashy still in sight, but does not have any regrowth. It's a Trailblazer to try to clear open if NRG are looking to hit this A site.
Seen a few frenzies around. Always note those are super good for breaking baby door and just making a quick dash over towards that B site once you fake an A. Doors open. They're going to start clearing.
Oh, that allows Victor to go for the dash behind, but he gets stunned.
Nice. Nice. Good defense. Close it up. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We still have the player advantage.
Plant coming down for energy. Rotate coming across.
That's weird. I've never heard just the spike sounds without the
playing close towards a small door.
That was strange.
All 3 players of C9 looking to flood back from the top of heavens. And that flash gives a lot of information to allow Artis.
I mean, you sort of expect them to be heaven.
Dropping down silently, other players of Cloud9.
Don't know if there's like a flank coming
now
through.
It's up to Crashies to hold that side, that 1v1. They know Crashies is alone. On A! And Jake denies him right away. Will stick onto that spike. Nice. Poison Orb then coming up. The wall bang. Trying to get that kill onto Jake, but it's not gonna happen.
Nice.
C9 gets the pistol.
What a way to start it.
Little body shot.
I like this. I like this a lot.
Ring in the pistol round as well.
Especially on a very offense-sided map like Lotus. I like seeing the pistol round won by the defense
Interesting
here.
insight, just enough time to get that. For a second, I thought it might have been coming from Crashies on the front and then hit Victor.
I almost felt that as well.
Yeah. Interesting on that. I didn't fully catch the play, but if that's what happened, that is incredibly unfortunate. C9 now will start to push the same extremity of this A. And B is going to be hit. So far, no C pressure. Usually you get a lot of that in the beginning of the game. Go back and forth between that door, especially between Cloud9. We talked about this the other day. Leaf practically lives around this area, offense or defensive side. And C9 have a pretty good idea what's going on this round, so it becomes now on energy to get out of this pinch.
Yeah, and C9 is just looking to play contact now towards the C site. Jiggle peeks from Zelsis and Rooney. Alarm bot's super far back. In case Energy wants to go for that flood into C.
What was that?
Back towards spawn.
He just didn't even react.
There's just so much information and so much
Thank
ground game though for Cloud9's defense. That it's gonna push everybody towards this trap of C.
Yeah, a little bit of a fake. Util destruction. Like you said, that trap ready to be deployed here. Just the Molly's waiting.
Nobody's rotated. No! Nice little push by Victor allows for the
nice.
And a nice little snake bite.
I'm
And
talking about
Zelsis drops
Zelsis. Come on.
right there.
Nice.
Lurk not gonna happen. Zelsis looking for
Nice.
the fourth one, an easy one here.
4 kills.
Halfway into the lockdown. But what they want here is this round and then make it at 2.
Taking space, but never overextending. Right, a lot of
We
space
only lose
taken
one there
towards
as
A
well.
rubble,
Oh, this is
and
so
they
good.
get to a position where they don't need to go.
It's gonna be such a good bonus
what
round.
Is happening on the opponent's side of the map. Energy still has to come to play inside the spike sites.
That is the
and
power
another
of,
clean round here. And staying
what's
on
that called?
quite a bit of these low buys
They're
as well
weakened,
for Cloud9,
fragile.
so the money's good to look into that bonus round.
Fragile.
Quick feet,
Agility.
quick
Crashies has his ult. I feel like we get a double hit
Made the
here on the
vulnerable, I
energy
think that's
side.
what it's called, right? It's power making them vulnerable.
Victor straight
So
to
much
the
damage.
orb. Gonna start messing with that door.
So much damage he was able to do.
You still
that
have the
round.
lurk here coming out of Artis. Completely different looks from Energy. It's interesting to see how now we see Artis going on that solo duelist mission. Now Victor here onto Lotus. And how they play off each other, how they give each other that max space that Chet was talking about for safety and that priority of what the duelist life means in that round, in any round. Quick over-the-top flash coming in from Zeppa identifies that C push is happening. So with Cloud9 not having turned a corner to even find a member of NRG, the utility is doing all the work for them. Oh, that bird got stuck a little bit. It's okay.
Yeah, it makes it difficult, especially when C9's one player behind. The Trailers are going to spot a lot. It's going to be hard for them to gamble on their early rotate when that, exactly what you mentioned, Riv, that flash, the second one didn't get the information. So this becomes an easy plan for Energy. C9 looking for the damage on their bonus round. Nice job by Zelsis to clear that corner.
Hoping.
And that will allow a fight to mount, but C9 decides to pull back all together, work towards the waterfall.
That door game.
Wait and see if Zeppa still has a flash that's about to come up, or if we're just going to flood right back. The flash comes out on the attack at least, though. But C9 still takes advantage of that as this wall comes down, placed up here by Rooney. Here comes a bloodbath. This is good for a couple of kills for Energy.
Nice.
Her advantage, make that in favor of Energy.
Hey, you know what though? We killed the majority of their players. That's what matters.
Perfect. That damage was really big. I was thinking
really
this was
good
really
there.
scary when you were being a member of Energy looking at we have X-Ray seeing all those Cloud9 members just on the other side of the wall. So yeah, Cloud9 happy to flood retake on the bonus, knowing they can buy and just shred that economy of Energy. Still, Seekers is ready, so good to see Energy able to get through that round. Make themselves available with the ultimate here as we come up. Stinger though for Victor. Still happy to buy that and keep quite a bit of money. Does decide to go for full armor at the last second though, knowing he'll be diving in here, possibly straight to B. Shift until you don't. That's the strat.
Cool. Nice little TP away. Leaf even runs through the toxic screen to get that pick off onto Victor. Snake bite to delay the push out of Energy, but at least they'll take the orb. Looking to get in back position. This time towards A. Leafs just spotted the jump spot from Crashies. That's going to slow things down just for a bit now. Looking to play the contact when the dark cover dissipates.
Or well, not
the
good damage, but
comes in the flash towards
it's
the back
damage.
of the B site. Seekers now coming out on the attack too from Crashies just to clear out this B area. Trying to get some sort of timing through this toxic screen at the corner of the A link. Counter Seekers coming out too, and some jumps across with a kill.
No way you peeked that.
Spike planted.
Leaf was looking for a flank, but it gets spotted here by the turret of Artis. Things are looking pretty good here for Energy to delay long enough. Another snake bite towards the back of the B side. Poison orb coming up too. And you can definitely see it from C9. The amount of delays coming out now from the utility of Energy. Just looking for these exits. Trying to keep Energy in the radius of this spike that's about to go off. Leaf now closing that gap, denied by Artis. And that will definitely seal the fate of C9 for this
You know,
round.
they can tie it up.
The
That's
last
fine.
two players, Rooney and Zelsis, saving their weapons.
That's fine.
And Energy will tie up the game.
It's not fence-sided map, right?
Back
So
and forth already.
just like 4-8 is a good amount.
The pick for Cloud9 here, they were able to thwart Energy on that pick of Pearl. But yeah, I think we're going to get a very back and forth game here. And what spells that, what tells us that, is the amount of frags that are happening each round as these guys are just giving it their all, getting in the site and stopping opponents from getting out of the site. Got to be a lot of rebuying and a lot of the game staying balanced in economy. Will make that util game even more important of how you're using it round to round.
There.
All right, the momentum now in favor of energy. That's the important thing to look
Yeah,
at
we can
right
take
now.
an
Just go
eco.
by
Again,
for
it's a
Cloud9.
very offense-sided map, so
And
just
they
like
will
a few
use
rounds
that
is all we
momentum.
need.
This is kind of a default here. Energy likes this
all you need.
instant positioning. If Victor gets to alt orb door, where he can activate door, gets a bit of help from the team to get that space, and then they can decide where they want to go from here. So it seems like this folds out into whatever audible they really want to do in the round. Looks like that's going to be a little bit of an A hit here. Almost dedicated to a fake with how far Artist is pushed up towards B, I feel.
Carnaria being thrown, Trailblazer to get the hit on to Leaf. We break the door, we get the stun out to Zelsis. Nice pick by Victor,
Yeah.
first blood in the round. Pivoting now towards the B site as Jake's trying to get a kill with the
Nice.
shot. Won't get it. Cannot connect
Okay,
onto the second
again,
one,
it's
though.
an eco round for us, so.
These kills are coming through for energy no matter what, leaving Rooney solo. Alone towards the A site. Energy full control of B. Plant not even needed as Crashes continues his strong performance from the first map rather to the second map.
It's really prop Victor up. Where can Victor get so
Okay.
the guiding light means more? Him following a Trailblazer means more.
Okay, that was an
In
eco
the A
round.
hit,
We
see
can
that's the alt orb.
lose on an
If he
eco.
gets the
Who
alt
needs
orb,
eco round?
Victor can either go through tree, around the corner into A, or they break through door with him and still have that push from Artist. So we see just 3 things that come out of where they can prop up Victor on this Neon from that A hit. And those are ones that are happening pretty quick. Normally pretty quick is not what we think about when we think about energy and strategizing round to round. This timeout will slow things down here as MCE wants to chat with the boys to figure out what these 3 rounds are, or what in these 3 rounds, I should say, are causing trouble for the team.
Yeah, definitely seems like a tough way to fight back on the early pressure from energy up towards that A orb. Yes, the smoke comes out early, but there's not too much coming out from C9 side, knowing their strong defensive side, how Leaf could push very aggressively as a Neon as well.
Yeah.
Getting support from flashes. Well, you haven't seen too much of that battle to take control of a rubble. And that gives a lot of map control now for energy to pivot continuously between that A orb and that small door. And that is also
It does seem like
wrench,
Cloud9
right,
is struggling to like
in the wheels right
prevent
now for
energy
how
from getting
C9 wants
onto
to
the
adapt
site,
against
and
energy,
like
'cause
obviously
they're not
once you're on
playing
the site, you
against
probably have it
played
on this
energy
map.
against
Because
a Neon
retake
before.
on Lotus is so
Victor's
difficult.
doing a good job to
So I feel
really
like Cloud9
suffocate
does need to be a little
how
bit more
C9's currently
proactive. I like
positioned on
this.
defense.
I like this
It's so
3-player
different.
push
And
out.
usually we see these teams throwing nades at each other right here,
Into
trying
A
to
main,
take
I
the
think
space with
that's
just
a good
utility,
choice.
but it is bodies right now. Oh dear.
Wanted to fight back. And as we wanted
Good
to
choice,
fight
but
back,
they didn't
Victor was
find
just waiting
anything.
there with that Phantom. Mentioned that they tried it out. They wanted to fight back in that area, back in the A Rubble's control. And this allows now energy to sell a fake towards the A site. Look at that pivot.
But I
from
just
C9
realized they
to
put
stack back towards A.
interesting. They put
But
artists
all
in
of energy
Filter.
are just walking into the C site and planning for Mound.
Victor is just laced up and on a different one this game. Definitely on the Neon diff, just on the aim diff. Raw power right now coming out of the flexibility of this player. Ultimate's ready. If he wants to go into overdrive, doesn't really even need to unless you're sending a message on this one. Energy's already got enough body shots in on this game. So I
It's
think
okay.
we're
It's a
happy
very
there.
offense-sided map.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, so
And also giving
we
a
can lose
respect
a
now
few.
for Cloud9.
We can take a few
knowing that they can
ecos.
always have these
As long as we have like 4-8.
in
Again,
the
like I
retakes
think
for
that
sites.
that is a
Not
solid
really
amount.
hunting for the kills yet.
Anything
Just
less
let
than
them have
that'll be a
all this money to
little
work
bit
with,
cautious.
making
Like
sure that you secure the
3-9.
round, secure the
Anything
spike
below
going off,
3-9,
and
I'd
he
say
will do
may
as
not be winnable,
Energy
but
will pull the lead by 2.
it's only been 6 rounds. We got some room. Like
A little music
we've
there.
won 2 rounds
Like it.
in the first
4 out of
6, right? So if
5
we just win
post plants. Energy
2 in the
securing
next
now.
6,
Can really see
it's a
where
good,
the wins
it's a
are
good place.
starting to
I say
come
we,
from.
but
And
I mean
again,
Cloud9.
a bit
I'm
of
not.
a slow site take now.
I'm not
if
Cloud9.
Victor's not absolutely getting in the face
Oh,
of Cloud9
identical
to start
ults.
things off.
Interesting.
See, Leaf there though, as you mentioned, trying to get aggressive, trying to match this pace, and it just the backup. I feel like energy is getting even to say Victor as well as the flashes over him, the
Econ
paranoias
is
that are
so
around
strong
him
for energy.
are really just
Does make
making
me
it
a
so
little
much
bit scared.
more tough to fight against. take that space just without worry, right? And that confidence is what they're getting the trades out of. What C9 seems to be so timid to push and peek as we finally get a little bit of a C aggression here out of C9.
That's exactly it. Not being able to fight head-to-head against the push on the A side. They want to do it on C and try to get the flank, knowing that usually in these moments, Artis is playing solo, trying to watch that rotate.
Yeah.
I think they got a perfect timing off the turret. I don't know if Artis actually recalled it while he's moving forward with the rest of his team, but he was moving forward to pick up this A orb, try to get into tree and get the lockdown in. But here's Finesse watching that flank. Lockdown now activated for Energy as they're pushing in the A site. Counter flashes coming across and C9's rotating all the way across the B site.
Nice, good pick.
Inside A. Zelsis will definitely get detained, but at least wins that fight against Victor. Plant only comes down now, so that gives a chance still for C9 to go for the quick rotate. Crashy's trying to get a timing. His opponent slides across as it's lead. Counter lockdown now coming out on the defense. Paranoid being pushed by Energy to keep their opponents back. But here's the opportunity with the overdrive for C9. Clearing all the utility left behind here by Energy as they pop the nanoswarms early. Leave, getting the shot onto Som. But things are looking really good for C9 on that flood retake. The second shocker from
told you we just need 2 in this next 6 rounds. Like two more to end off this half, and like I'm happy.
The body's apt.
Like that's a good
one.
one.
Message, feeling good. Leaf needed that round. I feel like definitely needed to come up big on a round for himself, get that confidence back.
Definitely.
Get himself back onto the board and recycle that ultimate again. They want to be using those off the rip each time. Zel's just being able to delay so much time in sight, and then I actually think getting detained, we saw all the players kind of searching a little bit further. Identified by Cloud9 as they slide back in and figure out where those priority targets are going to be.
Last night I like bit my tongue really bad.
Energy had a 2-round gap.
Now like
one
it's super
C9
swollen.
tries to tie us up once again.
Okay, like
in the C push, they felt comfortable. They gained enough space.
I don't want to get like graphic. It was pretty bad.
Energy rinse and repeat.
I was bleeding
back
a lot.
to a bit of their defaults, but are still spread out towards C. So it's definitely.
I think I'm fine now though.
It's definitely where C9 found a lot of success in the early days of Lotus getting these pressure, these pushes on C-Long. Leaf activating like he can in this area, but it's a trade-off on both ends.
Win.
Seekers in already coming through.
Okay.
Artist will just break all of those Seekers as he can.
Never seen Seekers with
just to make
like
sure
that.
that I don't get more information on that third player, and that's Victor still holding towards that A orb. But you're right here, Riv.
Oh, Seekers got
Leaf
stuck
has
on the
definitely
door.
been calm on this very map.
Interesting.
Struggling against Leviathan just days before.
I think the Seeker's pathfinding is very interesting.
Now trying to find his groove once again, where he found so much.
It's sort of like the wingman pathfinding.
To allow
You've seen that like on Icebox when you like try and get him to plant up, he just like runs all the way around your tube. It's so
for
fun.
full execution towards A. Thankfully now for C9, it's all of Zelsis' utility actually stacked up in that area. Turret now being shot down, alarm box still up. Energy deciding to move towards that baby door, up towards the B site. Rooney looking for a timing nanoswarm to get broken up, but that gives his information away, his position away. Snakebite looking to be thrown. Ult to get Som out into a position where he could flank. Meanwhile, though, Rooney falls. Disadvantage now for C9 looking to play that retake.
Nice
1-for-1.
pick. Not Zeppa though.
Up to only
So
Zelsis.
bad.
Now being pinned and sandwiched because of that ult back from Som. Wins that fight against Artis. Looking to tap onto that spike. Here's the footsteps moving forward. Knows that Som's heading towards the A-Ling.
Wait, why are you sticking?
That spike, off that spike, looking for the spray, but it's Som that's going to win it after all.
He held it for a little bit too long there. I feel like he should have gotten half and immediately gotten off of it. It's okay though, like I said, like
Energy keeps
at this point, like 3-9 again, like it's winnable. I don't like it. I would like 4-8. Again, I'll say it again. Like 3-9's okay. Like 3-9 is still winnable, just not.
And hearing the door,
like definitely not going to be
much
easy.
to think about on where Cloud9 was coming from. They had forced Cloud9 to make all this noise just to get back in. Zelsis was the one who really wasn't able to, or was kind of
so
unknown
loud
as he came through. Baby door right to C. Ooh.
And the Laura by.
You know what though, the Spectre just getting one there is okay.
As Energy are starting to see that early aggression coming out from Cloud9 from the last few rounds on that C site. And they nullify a big piece to the puzzle. A big piece to the success for Cloud9 on this map, and that's Leaf falling down early.
What do they do without their neons? Who's it? Who steps up to the plate now? Is this going to be a teleport into the site? Is Crashies get some or somebody to follow that Trailblazer in? Is the question. And this becomes so much easier for this Killjoy utility to have a return. Already got one molly out, so they're playing with it just a little bit. Cloud9's waiting on the rotate. This is going to help NRG take the site and get this post plan up.
That Seeker is to try to spot Zelsis towards the back of the site. Trailblazer on top of that too. That forces now Energy to pull back into B. It's been the same story all along, keeping C9 on.
The fact that Cloud9 just wasn't ready for that is crazy.
The plan right now for Energy, that default spot for them has been the bottom of that staircase. Finesse in a position.
So annoying. Like, you should be ready for that. Like, what?
Across that small door. So both make that even 4 players of C9 looking to rotate in duos.
Yeah, it's
on
not
the
over.
top and the back of that B site. No flashes available. Zeppa does get the trade-off onto Artist, but we just have too good of positions for Energy. Playing even inside the site.
I don't know why C9 was so like
they're looking
what?
really good in their pulse plan so far.
You should be ready for the possibility of a B rotate.
That's
crazy.
They're using this wall and they haven't changed it yet. But they can use this to block off normal Killjoy positioning as it gets placed in B, which they've been identifying at A. So they continue to go B, and the neon wall is how they've been opening up the A side. A lot of times that's where you see the Viper wall going across the right towards boxes and then right towards stairs A connector.
Are they gonna Viper
this Viper wall towards B is what Energy's been using every time, and again, it kind of rinse and repeat of what we saw last round. Right?
Tico.
Opening to C. No kills just yet. Rooney's looking to get this Sheriff to work here.
Feels like I haven't even had a chance to see Rooney on a Sheriff this series so far, and denied right away.
Ooh.
You were saying? Yeah. Actually, the capture blessing the headshot onto Victor as he was stunned. Again, instantly traded off by Finesse. Jake looking to run forward through the Nanostorm for a pick surprise onto Finesse. At least Zeppa will get it.
All right, keeping it even.
Push from Energy.
Considering it's Nico, like,
just
this
by
is
the water,
awful.
and that's being watched now by Crashies, not allowing C9 to get those weapons.
Yeah, they're sort of Energy's sort of forced to
for
push into C here because they can't let those guns be picked up.
So I'm now looking to play contact. Same for Leaf. The jump peek and a flash to allow Leaf to push forward. Now Som is closing that gap, reloading on that Stinger. Couldn't get that kill onto Som. Now it's up to Zeppa with the frenzy. His teammates are with him. His teammates couldn't save him.
It's like hide and seek right now.
Yeah. Only up to Zelsis now. 23 seconds on. 23 seconds left on the round. There it is. Have to
Not quite.
Into the C site.
It's okay. 2 isn't bad, but you know, with how strong the econ is for Energy, it's not like those kills are going to do
being able to
anything.
convert their 4v5s, absolutely rolling.
C9 should be able to take this round though. I've got confidence.
Cloud9 is playing their defense. We've
got
seen
a
a lot
Viper's
of these
hit.
rounds
They're at
be
down in
Cloud9
B main.
rotating and B be completely open.
3 on A.
And then on the retake, somebody dies immediately. So while it feels like Cloud9's okay with B being open and they're going to play the retake, they're losing a very pivotal member in that transition of the situation where they cannot be losing it. They can't be losing the KJ util so quick. Or one of their priorities for retakes here on that initiative.
Playing reactively with that Viper's
right towards A. We switch from A to C extremity. And we switch right to B.
Energy is a fast hit towards B. C9 meanwhile looking for the push on A side, looking for the fast flank. Alarm bot placed on the ground, door now opening. 2 players now pinched towards the orb of B, but it's still being won by Energy. Zeppa still anchors inside B site. Seekers coming out, a 3 versus 3. Door being reopened by Rooney, so they can pinch back against Energy. That forces a lockdown to come down from Artis. Zelsis does get the pick off of the Som no matter what though. But we don't care about the lockdown, just pushing in for these kills. Zardes finally at least gets spotted by Zeppa. Reopening the door once again. As now we're dancing
nice, let's go.
It's been a while since
what a good round. Now we're at that 4-8 possibility, which is what I said I wanted. 5-7's even better. I'll take 5-7 too. But 4-8 I'm very happy with.
It's wild to think of what kind of swings
like
we're seeing
minimum,
here,
that's what I'm happy with.
Cloud9 still being able to stop the bleeding here and there to make those early rounds that they
eco disadvantage does definitely be bad.
Mean that much more.
I don't expect a 5-7,
they still are in this
you know,
first half.
possible.
The second pistol round of the series is paying off big for them. they can get pistol around next half, it spells such a better story here, but it looks like Energy may be real ready for that with the momentum they've been bringing. Final one here of our first half, second map.
It's Victor with an opener once again, this time
good
at
trade.
least. We break the door early for Cloud9. We traded right back, and that's courtesy of Zelsis. Now Energy will not be able to do these quick plays of opening the door, forcing pivots, and then going for a late hit towards B. So adaptation for Cloud9 within this round. That now puts Artis out of commission. As I was just about to mention him putting the alarm bot just towards the door to not allow C9 to rotate back.
Yeah, a little pivot by Jake. Sees the smoke coming up from the opponents, uses that as a step. Ready to make a play now.
Here's the spike plant. The jiggle up
Humane
across. Finesse
punishment.
goes head to head against him. He's back out. Snakebite underground. The white swing coming out. Now a big flash coming through by Crashies as Jake now has to fall back down, looking for a timing.
What is this dance?
Finesse is still trying to push against him. He gets hit by the Seeker. Finesse is pushing forward, finally drops him down. The advantage back for the defenders still, though, as the lockdown pushes both defenders. On the postman, out on the attack.
Nice. Oh, what a good round. Now 5-7 on a very offense-sided map. I'm so happy with this. I'm so happy with this.
In their favor on the first half.
God, Jake wins the annoying award for this one. Staying alive for so long, back and forth. I think he faked out the Seeker too. That even seemed like it took longer to hit him. And then the rest of the team.
Yeah, that is true. Like the paranoia that Energy had to play with, not knowing where he was going to be that whole time. Like they're like, because they know where one is, right? So of course they're going to be very aware or worried about where that one player is. So yeah, good round. Just a good round. Now we're going to offense. Very offensive map. I
to know about it, Vince.
I think Cloud9 can take
their
what's
way
happening
to just 5 rounds on the defensive side. They are we're
The
knowers.
ritual?
We hope we're knowers at the very
Dude,
least.
I really like this trophy, by
two-round
the way.
lead
The
here
America's
for
trophy
NRG.
looks so good.
I think that the sorry?
Tenuous.
Tenuous, exactly.
Yeah, it's the attack side for them, and they're obviously stealing a lot of what Cloud9 has actually brought to the table on this Neon comp. So historically, actually, Cloud9 has been defense-sided on this, but it's kind of flipping the other way. I think their grip on it has changed. So this clip right here, Victor going crazy in through where Leaf is normally pushing and actually just stealing his stun. So bar for bar, word for word, that's their strat, and it's really funny to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, at this point, there are just infinite tapes of Cloud9 playing on this map. You can just see it in the latter parts of this season. They just haven't had the stranglehold on map control that they used to at the beginning of the season. NRG were able to control Rubble over and over and over, and that was really what was making this Lotus comp for them so potent. Victor switching over to the Neon in the head-to-head with Leaf. Both have had some okay moments. Victor is 3-6 right now. First kill to first death. Leaf is 3-3. But both of those guys, typically throughout the season, you would expect to have way better ratios on that.
Yeah, I mean, these stats actually show the OG version of how Neon comps were played, where there was a lot of sacrificial play out of Victor. But Leaf also joining in with him, and I think both are super pivotal to how they actually are approaching it. I think Leaf has lost that dynamic, that like rotation style that he had when he was playing throughout the regular season. I'm wondering if Victor will be able to actually match that on the defensive side.
Yeah, and we'll see if Leaf can create those openings for Cloud9 as they move to the attacking side. Either way, it's a 2-round lead here for Energy as they look to push us to a third and final map. Let's get that second half underway. Back over to our casters.
Thank you, Dash, Bala, and Wyatt, to help me know about this composition. Of course, I meant talk about,
all right,
you know, semantics.
Here we go. Let's go, Cloud9, making it 2-0.
In the lead by 2. And yes, as Bala has mentioned previously, historically has been very defense-sided for C9 with this composition.
Ritual
now, especially
sacrifice.
with a mirror comp, we may see the opposite. More faster players now on the attack.
Can you imagine making the game dev that put those bears in there?
Same thing here.
Like,
the Energy has done against them. Meanwhile,
it's gonna be so silly.
Toxic Stream does come out on the defense as a slide comes across, and this is going to be a bloodbath once again. An advantage for
Up
Cloud9.
player, this is really good.
As both players now pulling back from Energy, the slide across.
What?
Click from Som and a kill from Mortis. The spike falls as the advantage comes back for the defenders.
Celsius.
Gun here.
Definitely alone. And you needed some reaction time coming out from Som with that shot. That was actually quite nice to see.
Oh,
Now Nanoswarm pushing Finesse away, picking up the Ghost, getting the first kill.
Sure.
Through the smoke, does get hit, does get tagged a bit. And the second Nanoswarm,
Race
unfortunately, does not pop off, so that does not allow Zelsis to push forward to pick up the spike. We'll have now to come down to these duels.
just grab it. Just reach out and grab it. He can do it, I believe.
Still a high-low now from Sam and Artis.
Like,
The jiggle peek and a tap, just trying to bait a positioning. Oh,
I get it.
just saw the hip of one.
Oh, no, it's a gun! No, it's a gun again! It's a gun again! Okay, maybe he can't grab it.
Whoa.
Kitchen arms!
Artis gets
Alright, nice try. I applaud the effort.
Killjoy, all orbs galore, but also a round that kind of stops down. I think that gets everybody feeling the vibes in the game too. We reset here for second round as Energy stopped Cloud9 from getting both pistols. Cloud9 really needed that pistol on that defensive side.
I mean,
they have, but
did we really need it? I think we're okay with not
In
taking
this
it.
case,
I mean, think about it
Zelsis
this
did get a
way.
lot of pistols.
He did get a lot of pistols.
Energy got 7 rounds. Energy got 7 rounds in the previous half,
close,
and
though.
they didn't get the
A valiant
pistol round,
attempt.
right? C9 got the pistol round there, and they only got 5. So I'm
Save, and
confident.
It's
in
Energy
this.
trying to play it very aggressively.
I am confident in this.
Again, same type of strategy, denying C9 to get early pressure up towards Rubble. Pivoting now Cloud9 into working the B side and the C side. And Artis, I mean, this has been talked about on the desk where, you know, in the past when Energy was still trying to find comfort in their role, he was the one playing
Alright, at
this
least you traded
Killjoy
off,
on this
I
very
guess.
map because
Yeah.
he wasn't really comfortable into any other roles. But so far has done a very good job
Alright,
here being
decision making
anchors
here
on
is interesting.
rotates, anchors and sight on defense too.
Wait, what? No.
We definitely do have the audience split on fans between C9 and Energy, and definitely
Wait,
see why. I mean, this is
you're telling me
definitely
that the North
elimination
American
evil.
audience is
And a
split
chance
between
once
the
again
North
for
American
one of these
teams?
to
That's
move
crazy.
forward and represent
That's
the
wild.
Americas over at Masters Tokyo.
Placing swarm grenade.
Cloud9.
I keep forgetting
just a
how
map
important
away
this
from doing
series
that.
is.
2 rounds, I should say.
Whichever
here, but
team wins this goes to
Energy
Masters,
thinking
and they go to
differently on the
Champs.
defensive side.
That's insane. Whoa.
That pressure, instant shark attack, unexpected, coming from both sides as the dasher on the corner from Leaf
That was a weird
goes
engagement.
down, and we also lose Crashies. Leaf has found himself on the ground in the beginning of this round so much. Now on the attack side, that's going to mean a lot more. How are Cloud9 going to be finding themselves in these sites? A low buy round here that Energy could flip over and take this bonus for themselves.
Trying to play some timings, opening the door. Trying to see if we could break the utility from B side, but still going to be slow. Instead, Zeppa's looking for a timing behind and under the dark cover. Now Sam throwing both of his smokes. Door being reopened by Cloud9 so they could try to get a timing when the dark cover comes back out, but Snakebite still delays for a little bit more.
Nice pick.
Victor over peeking, denied and punished by Zelsis. A flash for
Nice.
finds Finesse. As now C9 floods the C site. Sam already on the early rotate,
Nice.
but Zeppa was
30 seconds
There
playing
we
that off
go.
angle, not being cleared.
Take it dominantly. Let's go.
Up to Artis, who does have this Phantom, and I think he's just going to try to save it. Damaged a bit, down to
Ooh.
54. Jake was the one on alert.
Wait, he's re-peeking?
and Artis wants to fight back.
The balls on this man.
Just trying to reposition as much as possible to get one of these frags in. He's still got quite a bit of util to play here, so he can just hide in his little hobbit hole while the rest of them source out this kill. Great patience there from Cloud9.
No, I don't think
making their way
C9's
into
gonna
the
chase
site.
him.
It looked like they could have been walking into a very
I
big
don't think they
trap,
should
especially
either.
now
Like, their
with
econ's
losing
not good
Leaf
enough.
right away
Like, you may
again.
as well just save your guns. Let him
But
save
util
too.
use,
Why not?
backing each other up, quick frags on there, and they avoid these sheriff rounds from NRG.
I was a little bit worried we
Mostly
wouldn't get this
bonus
round. The
buys
fight that C9
around.
does is good.
As that was the third round of the second half.
6-9
Artis
curve.
will keep this weapon going into the into round
You got
15,
this.
I should say. Or 16 rather. As we see Van Silly becoming a pretty big kind of area to find the first fight here, to open up the round, to see if a challenge will be had. Both teams have been pretty happy to take that fight when it comes to with Energy now calling a timeout, slow things down.
Yeah. Once again, especially with these neon compositions, trying to work quickly on the A side or C side.
Ooh.
We haven't seen too much of these situations though when Energy were playing onto their attack here. That they actually had to push all the way back towards spawn, something also Cloud9 has been known to do on their attack half.
Man, it's Killjoy duelist right now. Zelsis.
Wait, why is Energy taking a timeout? Hold up, I just realized that. Why are they taking? It's been 3 rounds in this hand. You lost your bonus round. You're taking a timeout.
13. So these teams are making it a priority to stop that initial attack. Get a frag out of it.
They only have 1, right? Or do they have 2?
We're seeing it from both sides, as it's kind of just neon cannon fodder at the beginning of the round, and then how it plays out.
Oh no, they did have 2. Okay.
Who has the better?
All right, that's fine then. I understand.
Here could be
Never
mid
mind.
to mid. Both neons.
I thought they only
right
had
at
1,
the
so I was like,
wall.
what are you doing?
As it drops, this could be a pretty good fight for this orb.
Makes sense.
Guns all around.
I'm gonna make sure your buy rounds
on
go
the
well.
side of energy across the board, so they can just sit down and keep that spray coming.
Let's go.
Different wall look here from Cloud9. Just going to be alert from Rooney as this map gets split.
Ooh. There's 2 players right now from C9 trying to take control of this orb because we wanted his Seekers. And Energy identified that, went for a heavy push out towards the B side. Dropping Leaf once again. And on the other end, there was 2 more players of Cloud9 trying to move towards that C site, allowing Zelsis to pick up this orb and drop that lockdown. That will push the players back for a bit. We still have the smokes available now for Jake as he throws him right now. We're committing to the execution. Snake bites being thrown, so it has to be planted in a different spot. Victor on the top here trying to spray on that ledge, pushed back by the Seekers. As it's time to play the retake. Trailblazer out from Energy to try to clear out the site.
No flanks. It's gonna be difficult for
2
Energy.
players from Waterfall, 3 players from Spawn. Big paranoia that's gonna blind a few, except for Zeppa, who does punish Victor on the early push. Zeppa looking to fight back. Has support from Zelsis. It's a 2 for 2 on both ends. Advantage back for the defenders. Only 1 left to go. And as we mentioned, it was not planted for him. So Rudy has to try to fight back and can't get it done.
Yo, what? Alright, that was played really, really badly.
Over. And I want to give credit as well to the Phantoms on the retake. We only saw legs one ways, volleys everywhere. So if you have these shots hitting you and you can't,
that should have been difficult for Energy. They didn't have a flank coming through.
Big in Cloud9's reaction time to
but like
understand
Cloud9 is just not
from, especially with Crashies having a few
locking it down.
Use on the way in form of that guiding.
I don't know. They were peeking like especially here,
swamping the site, getting down.
Yeah, like they were peeking through around the stairs when they didn't need to. When they didn't need to, it's just like
likely that we have Haven to come out on the horizon as map number 3. Just 3 more rounds for Energy to close this one out, and we get a timeout as MCE.
Another timeout.
Chat. Only a low buy here for Zelsis. He decides to go for a stinger.
Yeah, I think Cloud9 could have played that because you can be pretty confident that Energy, like they could be pretty confident Energy's gonna push downstairs into them, right?
Energy could quickly
because Energy, of course, wants to take out those post-plant holders. So instead of pushing out into Energy, Cloud9 should have let Energy push out into them. They would have had a little bit more of an advantage there.
These situations where C9 were known for on their defense, rather. When we were in the last timeout, was that they were really good at denying and delaying in terms of ult executions with the lockdowns. And their Energy was able to do just that on that previous round by having
hopefully they cleaned it up. I think they can.
At the very last second of the lockdown being coming out, rather. And as Jake was trying to move in for that plant. So off these timeouts, C9 on the attack have to try to dwindle down that utility available for Energy. Work that map around, use those doors, as they're known for as well here on the attack.
All right,
this time around, it's a flash to start things off and keeping Energy back. C9 trying to push forward into this buy.
Oh, we're trying to destroy Killjoy util. I was like, are you shooting your own
rifles? And that's the amount of utility we said that needed to be done. Crashy still has a Trailblazer to be used, though.
The way they're pushing up on this, to BC is normal that we see, but Cloud9, as the Des was saying, they haven't run that A strat that Energy was using that comes from Cloud9. They've actually been staying away from where Victor has been dodging and diving to the beginning of these rounds. So from A now to C, Victor's rotated over. He will do it again. You can see him just running from site to site here, trying to track Cloud9 as it looks like this may end towards C after all with A fake.
Yeah, this is a great A fake actually, as you just mentioned that. Som went for the Jiggle Peak, saw one, and a Trailblazer coming out from Crashies went out towards Long B and didn't spot anybody, so they're guessing a nade push. But C9 rather are pushing into C instead. So smokes once again being thrown out by Jake. Trying to gain control in the back of the C site. Nanoswarm to even push Finesse away. He makes it across on the top. Dodging over the smoke, and now inside the smoke, getting a kill onto Zeppa. Jake, though, still playing behind. The lockdown's up. The smoke dissipates. 2 kills. Can't get the third. And that will out the lockdown.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess in that, like, what was he going to do in that position?
But meanwhile, though, the
and he does get 2. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Big paranoia coming out here from Som, blinding both players of Rooney and Zelsis.
Okay, they were blinded, so they didn't hear the tap of the spike.
But we're not defusing yet.
They'll know now. They know by now.
Now looking for a double push, big relay bolt, triple swing out. Zelsis cannot win the fight on the last 2
This is
against
off
Victor
of a
and Som.
timeout too. Like, what are you doing?
Energy comes back for the defuse. They take the lead, 11-6.
Take the lead, take the site. Another great crash down as well. What is I'm all for it.
Yeah.
What is this new meta of playing inside the lockdown? Getting as many kills before the lockdown goes away and seeing if you can challenge the lockdown. I've been loving it.
Yeah.
We've seen players doing it again and again. Jake in there. Yeah. I mean, what's you need right now? You gotta break through your playoff ceiling. You cannot hit a plateau right now. We got everybody firing. So definitely Zelsis and Artis still up top, challenging each other again to see.
Come on.
Fast.
Both of them.
Right, you're forcing here. You gotta find something.
Victor dashing away.
Gotta find something.
Out towards C. And that will just allow here Zeppa to re-heal his teammates. Once again, a broken bind coming out of Cloud9. A Viper's Pit forced out early from Finesse into C. Have these double lurk plays out from Rooney and Zelsis. Som once again does a solo anchor hold. Now finally has support from Victor. We're just delaying and delaying. Another dark cover down.
I feel like this round can get so scary. Like C9 feels like they're in a good position, and you have 3 huge ultimates to come out of Energy to identify everything that's happening. Here's the hit on A.
Nice nanoswarm though. That might allow a timing for Son to push forward through, but instead it's a poison orb that prevents him from pushing forward. Once again, C9 will get a plant down with 5 players alive, but 2 players heavily damaged. Indeed, from a spike plant down,
wait, you see?
available.
Oh, no way, dude. What? What?
We're trying to get the heroic play, but Finesse gets denied by Leaf.
What on earth?
Like fly, C9 have now sealed the deal for Energy. Both players.
Oh, what did I just see?
Victor and Crashy all the way towards C.
What on
what? C9 will get the round.
Okay, so he was posted up in the orb
explosive,
here.
Causing each other to play reactive, right?
He was posted up in this orb.
Should be good. Run it. Yeah,
he sees the gun stick through. He doesn't shoot, and then when he does start shooting with the stinger, he doesn't find any connections. The orb drops, and he right clicks and kills him. What? Listen,
still able to cause chaos and participate with the team.
Nice.
Cloud9 flows much easier.
I think it's because Zeppa was like looking at the. He must have been like looking at his map or something when the gun was sticking through. I don't know.
Defense, man. I feel like
I don't know.
are just something people are buying in this game right now.
I'll take it though. Overdrive for both sides.
All right, Victor has all.
But low econ now for Energy. Come on.
We see them pushing towards rubble. This is one of the second times we see them fighting for this
C9.
position. And
dude, C9 is not out of this map. They definitely can still have this map. They just need to
not even
push
a
through.
one-way smoke. Looking for an explosion potentially. There's that explosion with the pop flash.
Look at pop flash. It doesn't matter. Let's go, dude. And then you push into A. Oh man.
That hat trick was nice. Cruising in, they only have to fight 2. I think we see Artis and Finesse going for this with the weapons there, bringing in.
Look at low Jake is though. Like they were fiending for
trying to
Jake.
do on this lower buy for Energy. But somehow Leaf not affected by that flash and just came down to quick reactions and Patno stats rather. Builds that confidence for Leaf.
What a good reaction time though.
It's up to Artis and Finesse now.
Like as soon as that orb drops, that smoke
No,
drops,
it's a done
like
deal, but Artis is trying to get that weapon left behind here.
top of that box, Jake was
I think we get a little clue
almost certainly
well
about to
as
go
to
check it.
We asked
so.
why isn't Cloud9 using their own A strap? Almost
Nice.
an ace. Almost. And it's because they're kind of waiting. They're letting energy take that space, feel comfortable in that space. And you mentioned it, it wasn't a one-way. So Leaf already plays very cautious to the situation, coming up with a hat trick right after. And coming up with a beautiful set here. Because Jake was just the punching bag there. He went down to like 5 HP. And now you get Leaf back on his overdrive. So we got dueling neons coming into this round. And again, Cloud9 starting to creep back.
All right, overdrive for both sides now. I'm surprised the overdrive wasn't using the eco for energy, but also just didn't have the time.
Paranoia coming out, and Som does get the
Oh,
TP
come
on
on.
top of Rubble, and then gets
Yes,
it
good trade.
as he throws his own Paranoia. Trailblazer to get information out on defense from Crashies as C9 decides to fall back and quickly into B. But that's where all of the utility left behind here from Artis is at. Trying to push forward, grabbing the orb at the same time. Now turret picked off.
Come on.
It doesn't budge energy though.
Nope.
So still holding their positions. Orb picking up allows for them to have Seekers on the attack. Zephyr trying to find information as they see only one Seeker going towards C. Still committed to push inside B though. Artis flashed away. Snakebite Nanoswarm, allowing the plant to happen towards the default towards Cloud9. Yeah, there's a Snakebite that comes down. Rooney putting the Viper's Pit up. Trying to get a timing on a retake now for energy. Finesse is right there.
Nice.
Couldn't get the punishment onto Rooney.
Big mid flank.
Let's go.
And yes, indeed, it's a double flank coming across that. Zelsis holding his ground. Relay Bolts misses him. It's a 1-for-1, but Victor fights back.
No
Back to a 2
way.
versus 2. Leaf inside the pit with Rooney. Artis trying to get a
Nice
timing.
pick. There
Picked
you
off now
go.
on the top of the staircase up to
What are you gonna
Victor
do,
alone.
Victor? What are you
Vic
gonna
goes
do?
down.
Nice.
Leaf
Good timing.
to get another multi-kill.
Oh,
in
low
round
eco
number
now
20.
for energy as
That's the
well.
money round for Cloud9. That's the reason.
I think energy has another timeout, right?
Down in the dirt
They
on this
can
purchase.
use-
Maybe some
Yeah,
frenzies,
yep, there
maybe
you
some
go.
stingers, but yes, Cloud9 has clawed their way back, punched through the bank account of energy, and now very much on top of the momentum of this.
Oh yeah,
game. Even
one thing
around
about
loss, Cloud9 is
challengers
still
is I
fine.
heard
Leaf is close to max
Moist
money.
Moguls is
So
going to
you
be
see
playing
what
on
kind of
LAN
position they're sitting in now,
for
the confidence
playoffs,
they're
like with
playing
each other.
Man, silly, they've done such a
I'm pretty
good
sure
job
like
at
they got
tracking
optics
energy, even
like
on a lot of these fakes.
headquarters
And it
to
seems like that
able to rent it
C9
out or
read
whatever.
now on defense
That's
is
cool.
what the analyst desk was talking about.
That's cool as
That
well.
tap
We'll
may
get to
look a
see on
little
the
shaky,
player
but
cams
they are definitely
all the Moist Moguls players
able
near
to
each
read
other,
here.
similarly to
No,
how
sorry,
we see the
defense
guard
to
and
attack.
M80 in the
mixed up.
same.
So 3 rounds now for
situation.
C9. Energy calls the timeout.
It'll be nice.
What could Chet say in this? I mean, this has to be an eco. You're guaranteed to almost get an 11-11, even up again. Incredible that this is how it happens between these two teams.
Yeah. You mentioned it on the desk, right? You're trying to run a mirror comp. You've learned how C9 plays it, and now you want to know if you could actually apply it.
This music
There's
is
been some
weird. Man.
moments here right now within the last 3 rounds that
don't
Energy
hate it,
cannot
though.
find their footing on a defense.
All right, still overdrive for both sides.
And C9's always been very good.
I feel like at this
and
point
how
Victor's
they
going to use
explode as
it,
a
so he's
team into
going
these
for full
sites.
shield.
He's done a very good
Question
job
is,
to
will he
fight
be
back here
using
and
it
there, but
well?
at the end of the day, it's still these rounds being tallied up now by C9, closing that gap, closing
Probably
the
gonna
lead
use it,
that
pushing out here
Energy
and
has
see.
been building throughout this second map. And they do want to fight back early.
Yep.
It's an overdrive from
Yep,
Victor.
and
being
now
thrown
Z9
early.
specs up.
As they're on this lower buy. Now the trap play that we've seen before is counter paranoia.
Oh, good
Out as
paranoia.
Victor cannot get these kills.
What a good
Crashes
paranoia.
against
Oh, may
the
not matter.
Sheriff kill. Pushing forward with the frenzy, the stinger rather. Som drops 2, flash coming out. Shorty
Nice
kill.
pick. Oh, good job, Rooney.
Watching a flank and
1v2.
dropping
Crashy's at 20. Actually,
both.
so
But Crashies, he does
C9,
have a
but
Sheriff on a 2 versus 1. All he needs is a body shot on the last 2 players.
it is
of Rooney
winnable,
and
but
Zelsis, and he could definitely clutch this. He's been on fire in the first and second map.
no, no way, dude.
The Red Bull clutch.
Why?
Unheard of! Another round where the team not supposed to win. You hear it from the crowd. Crashy steps up once again. The skies of America.
Remaining.
Always the ones we see fragging out and pulling out some amazing clutches. Crashy's doing it right there for us. And now, Energy. Whether, like I said, lose that round, it's almost 11-11. Now it's game point.
All right, come on.
And there looked to be a lot of utility dump going out for
It's
Energy.
like so far from over though.
Tried to add that pressure
C9's
to
got
Cloud9.
this. I truly believe that. Come
Energy
on.
looking to push this into a
You
third
can tie
map.
it up.
Trying to win
Like
C9's
win
map
streaks
pick
are
here on
so
Lotus.
doable on Lotus. Like
As
you
we're
can definitely get
defaulting
some good
across
win
the
streaks
map.
moving on
Yeah,
this map.
slow this time.
Like momentum can very quickly turn in your
Utility
favor.
trades happening from both sides here on both Energy and C9. Trailblazer coming out on mid for Energy, not getting information. As C9 are slowly pivoting back on the A site. Crash has already rotated across though.
Yeah, they're ready for this retake on A. You see, Hobbit door has to be broken to get in. Just Sam with a bit of info from the shadows.
Exactly.
Ooh,
We
that could have been
snuck
so
through,
bad,
made it across.
but it wasn't.
C9 hiding just by the staircase of the A site. All of
How
Cloud9
did,
now grouped up on A.
Still gonna push A.
This is the first time we see somebody going through tree.
Been a rare occasion this full map indeed. Plat now coming down on the attack, now confirmed that the hit is on A. Trying
Dude,
to
they are
look
not
for a
concerned at
play
all
here.
about
It's gonna
drop.
be
That's
Zeppa.
crazy.
Just around the corner is Finesse. As Energy are still inching and closing now.
If
on the
Zom
rotate.
pushed out of drop right now,
Beating
C9
in
gets
his that
so.
spike. Finesse does get the first kill out soon with the Zeppa though. Denied once again.
Oh,
by
now he
Jake.
does. No.
But it's all up to one. It's Rooney. Snakebite on the ground. Hiding
Woo.
under behind a dark cover. Avoiding the flash. Getting the first kill.
No.
Down 11 HP. Big flash coming out. Second kill. But
Oh, why'd he peek?
And Energy will be able to push this into a third map.
Third map. Oh man.
Into Haven, where the chess game continues.
Alright, I do think this is gonna be it for me
to
though.
the X Factor.
I'm gonna go eat. I don't really want to eat on stream during a watch party. So yeah, third map still to come. Sorry that I didn't get to see all of it. But yeah, see you all. Most likely, I don't think I'm gonna do any more watch parties for America. So I'll see you all on Wednesday. Be there or be square for North American Challengers playoffs. This is it for the North American Challengers teams. Try and finish off their season and get to Ascension. See you there. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to scroll down, super subscribe. If you are, thank you so much. If you aren't, I'd hope you would consider it. Yeah, thank you all for watching. See you all next time. Goodbye.